one comment I want to make, and I really want Trustee Brown to come back with us on is: do we have the right model, the right structure to be successful um, as a true DRS school? Um, because the way the model is going now is more of the charter side. I don't know if charter is the right move for us, but I do think as we're exploring where funding flows, how do we get those resources that our students need? How do we build something sustainable? You know, how do we create that model? And that's something that I'm interested in because, to your point, Chair Gibbons, FAMU should only be in the business of K through 12 to create a feeder school. We already have enough missions that we have to handle as our already, and to add another one that we aren't doing so hot on, but we could be better. We have to make sure that we have the right model first, and so that'll be that's my comment.
Absolutely. And as we get the findings from the KPMG update, a part of it is looking at different comparison models. And so the committee is also looking at different funding models, comparison models, structure models, and we'll have that information at our next opportunity as well. Those are all of.
You said Ms. Courtney Brown or somebody?
No,
Okay.
we're good.
All right. So
All right. So that's it for the committee. Thank you so much, Chair Gibbons.
thank you. Thank you all. And again, this is support. We just want to make sure that we move in the right direction, and change is hard. Ask President Brown, she'll tell you, change is hard. It's hard under me too, because I'm a hard driver. I believe that I want everything done like tomorrow. It's not gonna happen, but we can try, right? So we'll push and push and push, but we'll also provide resources when you tell us how we can fix the issues, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna move to the next committee meeting, which is the DSOs under Trustee Crossman as our chair. Chair Crossman, you're recognized to move to the DSO agenda.
Thank you all. Can you hear me okay? Now is that on? No?
They're going to give
No, all right, is that working? Can you hear me? No, that is working, is it?
Yes.
Yes? All right, I'm sorry, we're going to get started. All right, the June 11th, 2026 meeting of the Direct Sport Organization Intercollegiate Athletics Committee will now come to order. Mr. Nick, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Crossman,
Here.
Trustee Gainey.
Here.
Trustee Gibbons. Trustee Harris.
Here.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Trustee Young.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. May I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for the February 12th, 2026 DSO and Intercollegiate Athletics Committee? Can we move in a second? All right, moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, we've got several items to go through here. The next action item is the approval of the Family Foundation fiscal year 2025-26 operating budget amendment. Dr. Tatum Frederick will present this action item to the committee.
Thank you, Chair Crossman. I'm requesting approval for the fiscal year 2025-2026 FAMU Foundation operating budget amendment, which was approved by the FAMU Foundation Board of Directors on May 29th, 2026. This amendment reflects a transfer of $250,000 from the FAMU Foundation contingency funds to support athletics at fiscal year end. The request will assist with operation obligations while maintaining compliance with the FAMU Foundation and university policies. Mr. Chair, I request approval for the fiscal year 2025-2026 Foundation operating budget amendment.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding this? Anybody? You okay? Good. All right. May I have a motion to approve the Family Foundation fiscal year 2025-26 operating budget amendment?
So move.
Okay. Got it. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, the next action item approved is the gift-related naming recommendation. Dr. Tam Frederick, please present this action item to the committee.
Thank you. I am pleased to present a gift-related naming recommendation that was unanimously approved by the University Naming Committee on May 21st, 2026. This recommendation is associated with a transformational seven-figure gift commitment from a distinguished Florida A&M University alumnus, former Division I track and field student athlete, healthcare entrepreneur, and nationally recognized sports medicine professional. The gift will support the renovation, enhancement, and construction of the track and field house. Mr. Chair, I request approval of the naming committee's recommendation.
I'm sorry, real quick, how big was that gift?
7 figures.
And what's it for?
Track and
I
field.
think Trustee Brown are going to do a lap here afterwards, right? We're going to do that. We're going to do that. That is very exciting. I'm really pleased to hear about that. Are there any questions about this gift-related naming recommendation? And seriously, that's a big deal. That is a really big deal. Comment? Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, I don't have a question, but as a, former track athlete as well as trustee Crossman, I just wanted to tell the committee, thank you, and your work, VP Tatum Frederick. I ran at DRS, and then when I was at FAMU, I ran for a little while too. And to be able to have those things that are relating to those facilities for the athletes, it is absolutely needed. So thank you all so much for your hard work in that regard.
Thank you.
This kind of thing needs to go viral. Needs to go viral. So,
100%.
Yeah. All right. May I have a motion to approve the gift-related naming recommendation?
So moved.
Second, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. Let's see. In accordance with the board trustee policy number 2008-05, the gift-related name operating action item will be presented to the full board of trustees this afternoon for consideration and approval on as a non-consent agenda item. The next action item is for approval of the DSO operating budgets for the fiscal year 26-27 for the FAMU Foundation and Rattler Boosters. Dr. Tam Frederick, please present the action items to the committee.
Thank you. I present for approval the fiscal year 26-27 FAMU Foundation operating budget, which was approved by the FAMU Foundation Board of Directors on May 29th, 2026. This budget is also in your board material packets. The proposed budget totals approximately $6.82 million. In approving the proposed budget, the FAMU Foundation Board also approved a strategic reallocation plan, providing that should the president's salary ultimately be funded through state appropriations, the corresponding foundation resources will be redirected to support the Marching 100, athletics, and FAMU Foundation contingency reserves. This approach enhances the foundation's ability to invest in the key institutional priorities while maintaining strong financial stewardship and organizational flexibility. Mr. Chair, I request approval of the fiscal year 26-27 FAMU Foundation operating budget.
Thank you. Are there any questions about the DSO operating budgets? All right. With that, may I have a motion to approve the DSO operation budgets? All right. All in favor, please by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, that moves forward. Let's see. I'm going to move to my update operating district model initiative to just before we turn the meeting.
Chair
So with-
Crossman,
I'm
we
sorry.
have one more budget to approve.
Oh, I did one more
Yes, you said it in your
opening.
opening, so I'm gonna
Right.
go to the next one.
Or do I need to make the next motion on that, or do you need
No,
to?
I need to read.
You go to
and
your
then
thing.
we
I'm
do-
sorry.
yep. So I present to you the fiscal year 26-27 operating budget for the FAMU Rattler Boosters for approval. This budget is also in your board materials. The proposed budget supports the Boosters organization's missions of providing supplemental resources and advocacy for FAMU athletics. This budget has been approved by the Rattler Boosters and is presented in compliance with board policy requirements. Mr. Chair, I request approval of the fiscal year 26-27 Rattler Boosters operating budget.
Okay, we have a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, now we're ready.
Now we're
Sorry
ready.
about that.
No problem.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do the, you and AD Davis to move forward with your reports to the committee. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Fundraising as of June 3rd, 2026, $15,626,295.26. As we move to look at new cash, $12,332,557.13. This represents 79% of our collection in new cash. Additionally, we have secured $3,293,738.07, representing 21% of our pledges and planned gifts. I want to highlight our planned gifts areas. This is the highest level of planned gift commitments we have seen, and it reflects an important shift in the work that our university advancement team is doing. It showcases how our team is intentionally building long-term sustainability by engaging donors in conversation about legacy, future impact, and transformational philanthropy that will benefit Florida A&M University for generations to come. As we approach our closeout of the fiscal year, we continue to build momentum and strengthen our pipeline. We are super excited. We will meet our goal, President Johnson, as we continue to build the strategic plan and moving forward of this institution. One of the things I'm most proud about of the resilience and momentum that our university advancement teams have demonstrated this year. At one point during this fiscal year, we were nearly $3 million behind pace. Through intentional strategy and discipline and execution and the collective efforts of this team, we have reduced that deficit tremendously and are on target to meet our fundraising goal for this year. Perhaps even more importantly, we are seeing encouraging shifts in the composition of our philanthropy. Alumni giving increased by more than $1.5 million, and we are welcomed by 837 additional alumni donors into the giving of FAMU. Friend giving has also grew by more than $427,000, resulting in nearly $2 million in combined growth from individual donors. Corporate support continues to be our largest source of revenue at $6.9 million and grew by more than $500,000 this year. Even more with fewer corporate donors, this is telling us that our partnerships are becoming deeper and more meaningful with our corporate partners. And again, as I mentioned earlier, our planned giving commitments has reached the highest level this year that we've seen in any of our years. These results tell us a powerful story. We're not simply raising dollars, we are strengthening relationships and expanding our donor base by diversifying our philanthropic pipeline and building a culture of philanthropy that will sustain this institution well beyond this fiscal year. One of the highlights that we want to just share is we've been talking about AI and the AI integration into the university and working with our AI Council. University Advancements is proud to partner with a group called Data Moose. The College of Law was our recent pilot program. They did a 4-week pilot program, which provided overwhelmingly positive feedback from the College of Law. This pilot program helped them to see donor data in real time, as well as financial growth in real time. And so we're going to be rolling this out July 1 with our other colleges and schools as we begin to build how we integrate AI into our performance moving forward. And as we talk about impact, this fiscal year, scholarship support remains one of the strongest outcomes. We continue to provide meaningful, mission-driven financial support for our students. Thanks to you, our donors and corporate partners, and the ongoing commitment of the foundation, we have provided over $5 million in student scholarships. We are super excited about the impact we are providing here at this institution. At this time, Mr. Chair, you all in your packets have our DSO updates, and I'm going to turn it over to AD Davis for athletic updates.
Gotcha.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Good afternoon, Committee Chair Crossman, Chair Gibbons, President Johnson, trustee members, and others. Today, I will present FAMU Athletics Year in Review and introduce the strategic pillars that will guide long-term success for athletics. One of the clearest indicators of progress within FAMU Athletics is the competitive culture that's taking shape across various programs. Our women's sports continues to set the standard within the SWAC, demonstrating consistency, discipline, and championship level performance. What we're witnessing is a broader shift towards sustained competitiveness and institutional pride. Every championship, postseason appearance, and national ranking elevate the visibility of FAMU athletics and strengthen the university's brand. Success in competition also creates momentum in recruiting, alumni engagement, donor interest, and community connection. And under President Johnson's leadership, we are building an expectation of excellence across all areas of athletics where this culture will become the standard. Next slide. Here at FAMU, success will not only be measured by championships, but by how we prepare our student athletes academically, professionally, and personally for life beyond this institution. Academic excellence continue to be one of the strongest indicators of the culture we are building across athletics. This spring semester, we celebrated 32 student athletes who graduated while maintaining a department-wide GPA of 3.16 across all programs. These outcomes reflect the commitment of our student athletes, our coaches, academic support staff, and the university's approach to building excellence. We are especially proud to see the multiple programs that are performing above a 3.0 GPA, with women tennis leading the department with an outstanding 3.68 GPA. As previously stated, women's athletics continue to set a strong standard across the SWAC, while several men programs also have demonstrated continuous academic progress and competitiveness. These academic results are important because they directly strengthen retention, graduation success, APR performance, leadership development, and long-term opportunities for our student athletes. Next slide. A championship culture must be built on accountability, structure, and institutional integrity. This framework reflects how we are aligning athletics, academics, compliance, and leadership across the entire institution. APR monitoring and academic oversight remain central priorities because student athlete success begins with the accountability, and we are building a culture where excellence is expected, accountability is shared, and leadership exists at every level within this department. Recently, President Johnson established the Academic Performance and Excellence Weekly Meeting, an initiative in response to NCAA Level II APR penalties received by our football program. This reflects President Johnson's mandated institutional approach towards academic success of every one of our student athletes. I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Reginald Thomas. He's our new Associate Vice President for Athletics and Academic Excellence. Reginald joins us from the SWAC headquarters and brings extensive experience in NCAA compliance, academic support, and student athlete development. He has spent decades building the systems and structure that help student athletes succeed in the classroom, retain eligibility, and graduate. Reggie will lead the department's cross-functional collaboration efforts, and his leadership will be instrumental as we continue to strengthen our academic and compliance infrastructure. As we continue building a championship culture, institutional integrity must remain the foundation of everything that we do. Next slide. This slide represents our commitment to protecting the integrity of FAMU athletics while supporting student athletes' success as we continue to strengthen awareness around NCAA expectations, NIL guidance, eligibility standards, and institutional accountability. We're also focused on strengthening monitoring processes through consistent oversight and the use of TeamWorks, which is a platform to improve visibility and communications. Next slide, please. This next slide will highlight several programs that are helping to elevate our brand through our championship performance and sustain success. As we discussed earlier, culture is not built through words alone, but through accountability, results, consistency, and clear expectations. What is important to note on this slide is that these accomplishments spanned multiple sports, which speaks to the overall strength and direction of this department. We're competing at a high level while also building long-term sustainability and national relevance. Next slide. The next two slides will highlight the breadth of success that's taken place across athletics. Several programs achieved historic milestones this year, while others continue to build sustained championship momentum. Women's track and field is setting the standard, while softball won its first SWAC championship, leading to the NCAA regions. And women's basketball also achieved major breakthrough milestones. In May, our men's golf brought national recognition to FAMU Athletics through winning the Division I title at the PGA Works Collegiate Championship, which is widely considered the HBCU National Championship. Baseball and volleyball are demonstrating consistency and sustained excellence at the conference level. These accomplishments matter beyond just wins. They strengthen recruiting, elevate the FAMU brand, increase institutional visibility, and deepen alumni pride. Collectively, these programs help position FAMU Athletics as one of the premier athletic departments across the HBCU landscape. As we celebrate the momentum across our athletic programs, it is important to recognize our coaches, past and present, whose leadership and tenacity continues to drive performance, culture, and student athlete development. Legendary coach Veronica Wiggins represents the excellence, longevity, and championship attitude within FAMU Athletics. Her induction into the NFCA Hall of Fame reflects not only personal achievements, but the national respect earned by FAMU softball under her leadership. Over 3 decades, Coach Wiggins built a culture centered on discipline, competitiveness, and student athletes in their development. Her 726 career victory, 13 MEAC championships, displays remarkable consistency and long-term success. The naming of FAMU softball field in her honor further reflects the lasting impact that she has had on this university, our athletic department, and generations of students to come. This recognition They couldn't wait till I finish. So glad to have you here, Coach Wiggins. Next slide. Coach Rudy Hubbard is synonymous with the rise of modern FAMU football and the championship pedigree that we have here. Under his leadership, FAMU football gained national visibility and established itself as one of the premier HBCU football programs in the nation. His success on the field was matched by his discipline, pride, and accountability that he instilled within this program. Coach Hubbard helped create a culture where excellence became the expectation, not the exception. His impact extended far beyond wins and losses. He helped shape generations of student athletes and strengthen the national identity of FAMU athletics. The championship standard and competitive culture that we continue to build are deeply connected to the foundation that Coach Hubbard established. His legacy remains one of the most influential eras in the history of Rattler athletics. Coach Hubbard. And on this past Saturday, many of us had the opportunity to witness Coach Hubbard be inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Coach. Coach Garfield Ellenwood represents the consistency and discipline that's behind FAMU Track and Field's ongoing success. Under his stewardship, the program has maintained championship-level performance and conference recognition. Being named SWAC Coach of the Year for both indoor and outdoor competition reflects the strength and depth of his program. Coach Ellenwood has helped position FAMU Track and Field as one of the conference premier programs through accountability, preparation, and competitive excellence. His leadership continues to strengthen the championship culture across Rattler Athletics. Within the past few weeks, FAMU has had 6 student athletes who have qualified for the NCAA 2026 Division I Track and Field Championship, which are taking place at this very moment in Eugene, Oregon. From June, and it will end on the 13th of June. Yet again, bringing national recognition as they represent our esteemed university. Congratulations, Coach. Coach Quinn Gray has returned to his place that he loves, cherishes more than anything imaginable. He represents more than a coaching hire. It represents a reconnection to the culture and tradition of FAMU football. As a former standout quarterback and now the program's 20th head coach, Coach Gray brings both credibility and deep institutional understanding. His leadership is centered around accountability, discipline, player development, and restoring championship expectation. There is strong excitement and renewed energy surrounding the direction of our football program. Coach Gray's all-in mantra reflects the university's commitment to building sustained success both on and off the field. We're looking forward to these 12 games we have that are coming up. And as Coach Gray would recommend and ask all of us, make sure that we purchase our tickets. The season is about to begin. Next slide. Mr. Chairman, both chairs, committee chair, Chair Givens. May I have our coaches and our guests to come up?
Yes,
Sure,
yes, absolutely, yes. I'm the chair of this part. Yes, I'm saying yes, yes.
that's true. He is chair. I know Coach Ward happy after that game last night.
I know.
I appreciate this.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
make a comment.
Yes, you may.
2 quick things. One is Athletic Director Davis. We've been knowing each other a very long time. Thank you for the good hire on Reggie. He came from the SWAC. He's a good hire. I'm glad that you moved in that direction. Second thing is Reggie Theus just texted me. He said he got that trophy down there. So next year I expect to see that trophy on this table up here. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
I just want to take this moment again. Okay, we're gonna take a picture over here. Okay.
Well, yeah, no, but you want that, where do you want to stand? Is that okay? Are they good with that?
Thank you all. I know we got a baseball coach, Coach Shoup is in the house, as well as Coach Rice. Coach Bill, and Coach Daniel. All right, I got you. There you go. If they don't- All right. If they don't stop.
Athletic Director Davis, I just want to point out, there was no photo op in Trustee Brown's presentation. So I just want to throw that out there. Do you have anything more on your list? Do you have anything else you have to go through?
Yeah, just I'll shoot, I'm gonna shoot through the.
Okay, go
Shoot
ahead.
this,
Let's make
yes.
sure I get everything. Go ahead.
All right, as I shoot to wrap up here, is just wanted to just highlight some of how resources are being aligned to be able to support our student athlete success, operational efficiencies, as well as our long-term sustainability. In today's world of intercollegiate athletics, championship culture requires strong financial stewardship commitment. And so as we continue to build this department, academic success, and all the various things in which we're responsible for, it's very important to make sure that we're working very closely with our foundation as well as other members to have the needed revenue to help sustain this department. With that, I'll go ahead and end the presentation. And if there are any other questions, feel free.
Gotcha. Real quick. And did you have any more on your part at all? You're good. Okay. But if I can recap, so first, Tech, to you, what a great job you guys are doing. One of my questions I was going to ask you was, why is the giving going so well? But I think I know the answer. So many times when it comes to giving, it's individual, it's personal. Clearly, you and your team are doing an exceptional job. And I just want to pause and recognize that. And just to repeat back, a 7-figure gift to track, that's amazing. Kim, go ahead. Yeah, track. Kim, your work with the statues, Dr. Humphreys. I'm still waiting on mine. I'd like it to be life size. So if you could work on that, I appreciate it. But that was an amazing and unique initiative, and it's been very successful. I mean, really go down the line. You guys are hitting at every point. And so thank you. And I want that to be recognized. Before I move back to athletic director, does anyone have any question or comments for advancement? Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Again, I just want to echo, amazing job. Right now, we're in an adverse economy, and corporate and personal giving is down across the board. So for us to see an increase when the rest of the market is trending down, it means we have a right to win. It means we have a great team in play, and people see value in making an investment with FAMU. So fantastic job.
Anyone else?
Chair?
Yep, go ahead, please.
I know I clapped 700 times already, but I did just want to give the advancement team some additional recognition because they have done more than just bring home incremental funding. They've actually helped to move and shift the culture.
Yeah.
And one of the things we've been trying to change in our culture is the understanding of who's accountable for raising funds and for gaining the financial support for the university. And we're sharing that accountability across the enterprise. Everyone is responsible, and they've done a phenomenal job of creating a culture where the deans see them as clear partners to help fundraise on a per college basis, where we're putting some more purpose around how we're packaging, what our asks are, and we're not just asking people to give us money. We truly are framing it as investments and success, not just for FAMU, but for their enterprise as well. It's not a donation, it's a partnership. And they've been great stewards of sharing our performance-based funding. Number 10, responsibility as it relates to building external experiential learning opportunities for our students as well. So just want to give the whole team another round of applause. Great job.
Listen, it's about innovation. It's about relationships. It's personal. The thank you notes, the getting back to people. It's a total shift and it's a total win. So thank you for that. With that, I want to go back to AD Davis. And again, outstanding. Let's just pause again for both those coaches. I would challenge everybody to take a moment and think about all those wins, all those losses, because there's lessons learned in life and losses, right? But think about all the young men and women that they shaped, and where are they now? Well, they're graduates and they're professionals and they have families and they have children, and the lessons those two coaches put into them, they're putting in their families today. Those two individuals, they're two individuals, but are there not thousands of people that have been impacted by that work they did here? That is a really big moment. And I appreciate you, AD Davis, for recognizing both of them and taking the time to do it. I think one more time, let's applaud both coaches, please. And then I love what you said about the well-roundedness of the athletic department. I don't like universities have just one sport and they're like terrible at everything else, Alabama. And, so the well-roundedness there is really, really good. And, what we know is that student athletes on an average graduate more often than traditional students with higher GPAs. Most do not go into their professional sport. Some do, but many do not. But the ones that go into different areas of the world, they tend to perform very well because they know about working through pain and hard work and things like that. So the consistency there. I follow the ladies track athletes on Twitter. They're doing great. And apparently they could be tutors and they're fast. That's just amazing, doing all well. So thank you. That is a well-rounded, exactly what we want to see, success in every area. Before we wrap up, I've got one more thing on my list, but anything for athletic director before I go on? Anything else? All right. With that, before I close out with the DSO and Athletics Committee meeting, I'd like to briefly acknowledge the civic work that has been undertaken through the One FAMU DSO Operating Model Initiative. Over the past 2 months, our consultant team, K6 Consulting, led by alum Chakisha Kidd, has conducted a comprehensive and thoughtful review of the Florida A&M University's direct support organizations. On behalf of this committee, I want to thank Ms. Kidd and her team for their diligence, professionalism, and commitment to engaging stakeholders, reviewing current operations, and benchmarking best practices from across the educational system. I did not want to work on this without her, and I did not work without her. She was absolutely exceptional. I always talk about she's the smartest person in the room. I believe that, and I'm just totally, give her a round of applause, Mom. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just very grateful, Ms. Kidd. This effort has been guided by a singular objective, identifying opportunities to strengthen coordination, alignment, and collaboration across the organizations that work tirelessly in support of Florida A&M University. The committee appreciates the thoroughness of this review and looks forward to receiving and considering the recommendations that Dr. Brandy Tatum-Fedrick will present to President Johnson and university leadership as the part of the next phase of the important work. As we continue these discussions, it's important to emphasize that this work is not about diminishing the important contributions of any organization. Every entity involved has played a vital role in advancing the mission and legacy of Florida A&M University. Rather, this effort is about building upon that strong foundation, ensuring that our collective resources, talents, and efforts are aligned to maximize impact for FAMU students, faculty, alumni, and future generations of Rattlers. I want to add something that I realize that change can be hard. I realize that. But I wanted to get you guys to think about something else for me a minute. And that is, I was having dinner with some friends. We were having a conversation, and one of them said, remember Burdines? That's what they said. And they were like, remember Burdines? And I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, remember Kmart? Remember Sears? Remember Radio Shack? Blockbuster? These young folks, they don't know about Blockbuster. They don't even know, right? Those were great companies, right? And they're gone, right? What happened? Because sometimes things achieve greatness and then they go flat, right? And then they don't commit to change. And things that do not be open to change often die. It happens in for-profit, non-profit churches. So change is hard, but I want us to be mindful of what happens when you don't do that. And I would maybe submit a different word. A different word than change is maybe we should use the word innovation, right? Since this university was founded, I would say it's the best in our state in innovation. Over and over and over again, that's what this university has been about. There are two words that when it gets said, my spine kind of locks up, and those two words are Dean Mobley. I never met that woman, but I reverence for her and respect for her because what I know of her is historically when her name comes up. Was she innovative? Was she for change? Did she rattle cages and make things happen and move things along? In my mind, she seemed like a modern day Mary McLeod Bethune, right? So when we start moving forward, we think about innovation, man, I think about Shakisha Kidd. I think about Brandy. I think about our president. Those women continue that legacy of innovation. And yes, sometimes that can be uncomfortable, but it is what will help us achieve the greatness that this university deserves. So again, I understand it can be challenging. I would ask us to work together, embrace it, okay? One other quick thought. Sometimes during this process, there's been some concern about the process being pushed to being fast or with speed. And I just want all of you to know that one person driving that, that's me. I'm the one that's pushing that. So that's not to say that I don't believe in pausing. I've told the president if we need to pause, sometimes we should. What I want to remind you of, like, or just share with you why I think speed's important. First, because I'm a track guy and the speed's important, right? But the second thing is this. We have freshmen starting here in a few weeks, and it's about them. There's only one first semester freshman year, right? When I was getting my valet car last night, I was just talking to the valet for a minute, having a just nice little conversation. And I asked, how are you doing? And he goes, oh, we're so busy because it's orientation. And as soon as he said that, I thought about my freshman orientation. Charlie, 89, right? We were here, right? Do you remember what it was like to be in orientation? You do, don't you? You know, it was scary and exciting, right? So we have these young people coming here, and aren't we blessed to have them here? And this is their time. So I don't want to say to them, hey, I'm glad you're here. Wait, I don't want to do that. I asked Kim one time about giving. I said, what do you think about giving? What's the thing that makes you happiest? And she told me immediate unrestricted funds. And I said, why is that, Kim? She says, because we can help them right now. Didn't we talk about that? And that's what I'm talking about. So again, I apologize if I'm being too pushy sometimes. I just want you to know urgency is important to me. And I want to make an impact to these young people as fast as possible. Okay? Is that fair? All right. I think I'm done now. I think that's all my things. So with that, I think we're ready. If there's no further business to the committee, the meeting is adjourned. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair Crossman. Good job. Thank you all. We're gonna move to the governance committee. First of all, I want all of us to send our prayers out to Trustee Shaw. He's at the hospital with his wife. I think they're gonna have a baby here soon. So we'll keep him in our prayers. And Vice Chair Figures, is she on the line?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone.
How are you? You recognize Chair Figures?
Awesome. I won't be joining on camera today due to the last minute scheduling, but I will definitely take over this meeting. I call the governance committee meeting to order.
Hold on one second.
Yes.
Can the room stay quiet? Because we can barely hear Chair Figures, please.
Okay, so let me get off my headset. One moment.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It just got a little loud as we transition.
Okay,
All right, there we go.
we're ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. I call the governance committee meeting to order. Ms. Taylor, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Figures,
Here.
Trustee Gainey.
Here.
Trustee Washington. Trustee White,
Present.
As we know, trustee Shaw is out. We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Our first action item is the approval of the February 12th, 2026 committee minutes as we posted on our website. Are there any corrections? No? Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So move.
Great, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Awesome. Now we're going to the legislative budget request for 2027, 2028. VP Robinson and Provost Watson, you are recognized to discuss the legislative budget request process, our funding priorities, and legislative impact.
Excuse me,
Madam
Chair
Chair.
Figures,
Yes?
we need to take a vote on the minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So let's back up a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a vote on the minutes. Ms. Taylor, can you go through the roll?
Okay. Trustee
Or do I
Figurs,
just, yes?
you're
No, we-
gonna go roll call, or do you
You can
want to?
just, Madam Chair.
I
you
was
can
just gonna let you do the
call
roll
for a
call, but I can do it.
vote. Okay, just
Either
call,
or.
just call for a vote. All in favor by saying aye.
All right, so all in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Awesome. Are there any disapproval? Since there are none, this motion properly carries. Now we'll go into the legislative budget for 2027, 2028. Vice President Robinson and Provost Watson, you are recognized to discuss the legislative budget request process, our funding priorities, and legislative impact.
Thank you, Chair Figures, and thank you, Board of Trustees. In addition to myself and Provost Watson, we have Dr. Palm, who leads our health enterprise, who's here as well to help us cover the topics. Members of the Board of Trustees, today we have prepared and are presenting Florida A&M University's proposed fiscal year 2027-2028 legislative budget request and seek the committee's favorable recommendation to the board. The package before you is the result of a survey-based process. The survey was provided to the executive leadership team, who was asked to cascade it throughout their respective teams. Those survey responses were reviewed, then prioritized by Provost Watson and Dr. Palm for the health enterprise, and then reviewed by President Johnson, resulting in the package before you today. The timing of today's review is important. Pursuant to Board of Governors Regulation 9.007 and Section 1011.40 Florida statutes, universities are required to submit their legislative budget requests by July 15th of this year. Accordingly, we are seeking the committee's recommendation today so the package can advance to the full board for consideration and approval, enabling us to meet the Board of Governors timeline. Before the provost reviews the specific items, however, I'd like to provide a little bit of context. Legislative budget requests are exactly that, requests. They represent our priorities, our aspirations, and our best assessment of where strategic investments can have the greatest impact. Today's request is a reflection of this requests. This today also reflects several important lessons learned from the most recent legislative session. First, and it should come as no surprise, the legislature worked this session to reduce the size of government and therefore the budget. In fact, the overall size of the state budget declined from approximately $117.4 billion to $114.5 billion this year. Florida's budget environment is one of discipline rather than expansion, and policymakers are understandably cautious about creating new obligations, particularly recurring ones. And so to this end, we focused our recurring ask for the fiscal year 27-28 on two specific requests where we have a reasonable opportunity to benefit students and to enhance our contribution to the state of Florida. Second, we learned and observed that centers and institutes resonate. These initiatives can be viewed as catalytic investments, opportunities where a state appropriation can help attract federal grants, private sector partnerships, philanthropic support, and additional research funding. That lesson is reflected in our requests, which you will hear more about in a moment, But there are two requests. One is a cardiometabolic health disorders institute, and separately, the Florida Center for Legal Innovation, Technology, and Judicial Leadership associated with our law school in Orlando. The goal for both is to secure initial state support that positions our university to compete successfully for external funding and become increasingly self-sustaining. There are two other important factors I want to acknowledge. The first is time. The session starts next year in early March, 8 months from now, roughly. A lot can and will happen between today and then. The second thing is we find ourselves approaching a period of significant political transition in Florida. Following the upcoming election, the state will have a new governor, a new Senate president, a new Speaker of the House, new appropriations leadership in both chambers, and more. While we cannot predict every legislative priority or opportunity that may emerge once those elections are complete, once those elections are complete and leadership is in place and has identified their respective areas of focus, two things remain constant: the state university system's 2030 strategic plan and Florida A&M University's institutional priorities. This legislative budget request is grounded in both and reflects our best assessment of the opportunities before us today. Members of the board, my point is this: things can happen and they will change. And what is before you today is not written in stone. Should meaningful changes to our request become necessary and warranted as legislative priorities become clearer and as time goes on, we will share those changes with the board. On screen now is an overview of our proposed requests, and I will turn now to Provost Watson to share specifics about each.
Thank you, VP Robinson and members of the Board of Trustees, Madam President. Today, I will present the recurring item on agricultural research, cooperative extension, and workforce development, the R1 Research Accelerator for $10 million in non-recurring to uplift faculty research excellence and R1 Carnegie distinction, as well as the workforce technology and innovation for $25 million in non-recurring. I'll also highlight the FAMU FSU College of Engineering for $13.6 million in recurring dollars. I'll start with the $6.5 million in recurring dollars for our agricultural innovation, workforce development, and extension excellence initiative. As Florida's 1890 land grant institution, FAMU plays a critical role in supporting one of the state's most important economic sectors. Florida agriculture contributes more than $270 billion annually to the state's economy and supports hundreds of thousands of jobs across production in agriculture, food systems, environmental management, agribusiness, transportation, and related industries. Continued growth and sustainability of this sector requires strategic investments in research, innovation, workforce development, and technology transfer. FAMU seeks the $6.5 million in recurring dollars to strengthen the agricultural research enterprise and expand extension services and enhance workforce development. A central component of this initiative is the expansion of research capacity by the recruitment of highly qualified faculty, research scientists, and extension specialists. These professionals would serve as the foundation for increasing external research funding, accelerating innovation, strengthening partnerships with industry and government agencies, and developing solutions to challenges affecting Florida's agricultural economy. The proposed investment will support hiring of 10 research faculty members with expertise in areas critical to Florida's agricultural competitiveness. Recognizing that these successful recruitment and retention of research talent requires adequate research support and initiative, including startup funds for faculty and scientists to establish laboratories, acquire equipment, implement field research programs, and launch competitive research agendas capable of attracting federal and private sector funding. I have several more initiatives under this recurring dollars, but I will stop for the agriculture and go on to the next unless there are questions.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
we have a question by Trustee Brown.
yes. Trustee Brown, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you so much for that one, Provost Watson. I wanted to ask, for this piece with the land grant, are some of those funds or processes for those positions also including at the Brooksville campus for the researchers? Okay,
So I did cut that part out for time constraints, but it is in detail in, I believe, the materials that you have received.
thank you.
The next item.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
just one quick pause. I'm unable to see the room, so if anyone does raise their hand to make a comment, can I please be notified?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The next.
Okay, you can continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next area is FAMU R1 Research Acceleration and Carnegie Classification Initiative. FAMU is strategically positioned to become the nation's next public HBCU to achieve Carnegie R1 status. Advancing to R1 will strengthen our national research profile, increase federal research funding, expand doctoral education, attract top faculty, and generate long-term economic returns through innovation and commercialization. These funds are set aside to promote faculty research excellence and strategic hiring, doctoral student fellowships and graduate research assistantships, research infrastructure and core facilities, artificial intelligence, data science, and emerging technologies research, grant development and research administration capacity, and tech transfer and commercialization initiatives, which all not only underscore the R1 initiatives, but also speak directly to the Florida Board of Governors SUS 30 strategic plan. This will increase our federal research expenditures, as will the agriculture. And we're primed to see a 5-year impact of increased research funding, expanded doctoral enrollment and completions, enhanced faculty recruitment and retention, increased innovation, and improved performance on our performance-based funding outcomes and others. That's the overview for the research classification. Are there any other questions at this time?
Do anyone have their hand up? I'm unable to see it. Okay, I don't see anyone. Okay, you can continue.
Okay, this is probably the most exciting because it aligns with some of the things that President Johnson shared in her first 90 days and is truly underscoring the work that we're doing at the College of Law in Orlando. So this strategic Orlando economic development impact, I'm sorry, my eyes. The Center for Legal Impact and Technology Infrastructure is a $25 million non-recurring initiative that will essentially use FAMU College of Law as a catalyst for business creation, technology commercialization, and workforce development while strengthening Florida's ability to grow and retain high-value companies. The center will serve as a pipeline for the development of future attorneys, judges, entrepreneurs, innovators, and business leaders who will contribute to Florida's long-term economic competitiveness and prosperity. This is directly aligned with the state university system strategic plan and increase workforce production in high demand fields. This will expand experiential learning opportunities for our FAMU College of Law, strengthen our innovation around patenting, tech transfer, commercialization outcomes, all to support the economic development and industry engagement, preparing graduates for leadership roles in law, business, cyber technology, entertainment law, and entrepreneurship. It also will create a scalable model for connecting university-based innovation with private sector economic growth and job creation throughout Florida. That's the overview for the Florida Center for Legal Impact, Technology, and Innovation. And I can take any questions at this time.
Do anyone have any questions? Okay, I see none. You can continue.
And lastly is on my end, and then Dr. Palm will share about the health innovation, is the $13.6 million recurring for FAMU FSU's College of Engineering, closing Florida's engineering talent gap. And we have anticipated cluster hires across both FAMU and FSU to strengthen the economic drivers for engineering and data infrastructure. This $13.6 million will close that gap by allowing us to complete more of those cluster hires, work to solidify the research that we've already done with our university research centers, and it will help us navigate into the future with engineering, technology, and innovation. The College of Engineering on the FAMU side has seen a 30% increase in the number of students that have enrolled. And currently they are the highest number of academic drivers for R1 as their PhD production and application has doubled in the last year. So this will help support that and other federal funding initiatives that we're seeking. That concludes the overview of all 4 of those areas, with only 2 of them being recurring: the agriculture and innovation and the engineering talent gap. I'll take any questions at this time.
Do we have any questions from members of the committee? I see none. You can continue.
I'll turn it over to Dr. Palm at this time.
Yes, good afternoon, Chair Figures, Madam President, members of the committee, members of the board. I will be going over the cardiometabolic health disorders. The FAMU Cardiometabolic Health Disorders Institute represents a high return investment in Florida's health, workforce, economy, and research competitiveness by addressing the full spectrum of cardiometabolic disorders, including hypertension, cardiovascular disease, stroke, obesity, diabetes, and chronic kidney disease and related complications that drives billions of dollars in avoidable healthcare costs and lost productivity each year. Diabetes alone costs Florida approximately $30.5 billion annually, while obesity imposes an estimated $30 billion in economic costs, including high medical expenditures for employers, households, Medicaid, Medicare, and loss of workforce productivity. The investment will establish a statewide institute that trains the next generation of pharmacists, nurses, allied health professionals, public health practitioners, and community health workers, and chronic disease specialists, while expanding outreach in rural and high-need Florida communities. Through mobile outreach, telehealth, community screening, workforce certificates, clinical training, rural partnerships, and prevention-based care models, the Institute will reduce costly emergency and late-stage care, improve employee health and productivity, and strengthen Florida's healthcare workforce pipeline. Over 5 years, FAMU projects training 10,000 students, preparing 500 healthcare professionals annually, reaching 50,000 residents, completing 15,000 screenings, establishing partnerships in at least 20 counties, generating 15 to 20 million in external research funding, supporting clinical trials, and producing measurable returns through improved population health, stronger rural health infrastructure, expanded research innovation, and more than $50 million in direct and indirect economic activity over the next 10 years. I have the expected outcomes and investment on the screen as well, but I won't go through all those at this particular time. But that actually represents the Cardiometabolic Health Disorders Institute. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, all right, thank you. I see none.
And I'll just conclude by saying, members of the board, taken together, these initiatives represent a coordinated strategy to strengthen Florida's workforce, innovation, our innovation economy, agricultural competitiveness, healthcare infrastructure, and long-term prosperity, while continuing to elevate our university's impact within the state university system, and of course, benefiting every student who attends school here. The total package, as you saw at the beginning slide, is $51.5 million for FAMU and $13.6 million for the FAMU FSU College of Engineering. And of course, we will collaborate with our good partners over FSU on that. More importantly, this provides a clear roadmap for pursuing opportunities that are consistent with our strategic priorities while maintaining the flexibility necessary to navigate a challenging political and fiscal environment. Accordingly, members of the board, we respectfully request this committee's favorable recommendation of the fiscal year 2027-2028 legislative budget request to the Board of Trustees. And we together would be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for any board member? Okay, I see none. Thank you so much, VP Robinson and Provost Watson. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? If there are no further questions,
Madam
yes.
Chair, I have a comment.
Yes.
let me
You're
just-
recognized.
thank you. I want to say to the president and her team, and Vice President Robinson and the team, Provost Watson, and to, everyone else as well. And, that this was a tough budget year. So I want people to recognize when you hear the nonsense that FAMU did not have a good budget year, when you look across the state university system, preeminence was not funded this year. Okay? At all. It was not funded. They used the preeminence money to make sure that they funded the university system, to make sure they could fund the entire system. And if you look across the system and you look at where FAMU landed, we did pretty damn good in this cycle. So I want to also acknowledge that our lobbyists at Ballard Partners, Turnbull, and all those other groups that have been working with us, both at the state and the federal level, that we came out just fine in this cycle. And again, look at all the other universities. It may seem like they got a lot more than we did. They did not. You know, there were, and you have to remember, there were 5 new presidents in this system this year that all had priorities that, you know, the legislature liked all of them, including our president. So I just want people to recognize and stop listening to the outside noise of what's going on. One of the things that I think we're going to do differently next year to push back on this is the president and I have had some discussion about how we will help our legislative team by showing how we utilize those funds to support the efforts of the university and what was the gains that we made because of the after we tracked that money and showed the gains that we made in different departments, areas, and schools that allow for us to move our certain agenda along. The other thing is, if you look at, you know, we got to stop with these misnomers and all of this bad information. If you look across the enterprise, FAMU has progressively gone up in the metrics across the system totally. We have moved up everywhere, our law school, on all, I mean, if you look at the metrics totally, we have moved up in every category. I mean, I think it may be one that we were on the bubble, right? Provost, am I wrong about that? I think it may be one. So the funding is coming and we are utilizing it properly. So I just want to commend the team, Madam President, you and your team on doing an excellent job. But we got to stop listening to this outside noise that we are not getting properly funded. We got funded well in the current year. The funds decreased. And that's when you get a reduction, everybody took a hit in that reduction, right? So thank you for doing such an excellent job. And I just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Gibbons.
Madam Chair, we need a motion.
Yes. Are there any further questions or comments? Since there are none, I will go ahead and request a motion for approval of the 2027-2028 legislative budget request.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, so I don't hear a second unless,
Yes, have to be white if it's still online.
I'm so sorry, I'm unable to hear him. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes. Is Trustee White
Okay.
still online?
Trustee White?
Can you second, Trustee White? Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
okay,
He's the one.
okay.
It's White, Figures, Gamey, and yeah, if White.
So we have,
Somebody can second, we can move it forward.
do we have a second? Am I able to second it?
Yeah, we're waiting just a moment.
Okay.
Can she second that, Chair? Madam Chair, you can second as chair.
Okay, so I second. So now that it has been properly seconded, do I have, all those in favor, please say aye.
They have a quorum.
I'm so sorry, there's so much discussion going on. I'm unable to hear
Hold on
everyone.
1 second, Madam Chair, please. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Hold on 1 second.
No worries.
We're trying to find trustee White to make sure that we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you.
'Cause he's online, but he's not responding.
Yeah, he might be having audio issues.
He might be in the bathroom.
Probably. Is someone reaching out to
It's not a
trustee White?
restroom, 'cause I think he's at home, so it's the bathroom, not a restroom.
Okay. Is someone reaching out to trustee White?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Taylor and the staff is reaching out to him to try to get him, make sure he can respond really quick.
Okay, I'll be on standby for a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
So I think it may have to die if we're unable to get him on. Is there any response from trustee White at all?
They're trying to get him.
Okay.
So just make a recommendation and we'll put it, we'll take it off the consent agenda and vote on it in the full meeting individually.
Okay.
We'll take it as a recommendation from the committee. And we'll
Okay.
we'll leave it off the consent agenda and just vote on that one item outside of the consent agenda.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you. All right, so we'll go ahead and leave that as a recommendation and we'll move it over to the next agenda. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is the informational items. Our next agenda item will be the government relations update. VP Robinson, you are recognized.
Thank you again, trustee Figures. Today, I am sharing Florida A&M University's funding from the fiscal year 2026-27 General Appropriations Act as enrolled. As you may know, at the end of last month, the Florida legislature completed the work on the fiscal year 26-27 GAA during special session E, approving a state budget totaling approximately $114.5 billion. First, let me preface this by everything I'm about to say is not complete. While the budget has been passed, it has not been transmitted to the governor. And once that happens, the governor will have 15 days to act. The governor also has line item veto authority. Trustees may recall that prior to session, we anticipated a challenging budget environment. Legislative leaders entered the year focused on slowing spending growth and reducing the overall size of the state budget, which ultimately declined from, like I said earlier, $117.4 billion last year to $114.5 billion this year. Trustees, the 2026-2027 GAA represents one of FAMU's strongest legislative budget years in at least the past 5 years, totaling approximately $111,750,000, easy for me to say, in state investments supporting FAMU. Without question, as you can see on the chart, the largest component of FAMU's budget success is $91 million for Building C at the FAMU FSU College of Engineering, which is also the single largest named project funded within the state university system's fixed capital outlay budget this year. Funding for this building was identified by FAMU as our #1 priority in our submission to the Board of Governors last year, and was included on the Board of Governors' PICO eligible projects submitted to the legislature. While funding to complete Building C rightfully deserves significant attention, the university's operational and directed program results are equally noteworthy. FAMU secured approximately $13.75 million in operational enhancement funded and directed program support, including $10 million in operational enhancement funding, $7 million of which is non-recurring, and $3 million of which is recurring. This is a particularly strong outcome that I will return to in just a moment. There is also $750,000 toward the launch of our Civic Engagement Institute, $1 million for the College of Agriculture and Food Sciences, $2 million for shared FAMU FSU College of Engineering research initiatives as well. Members of the board, last year was widely regarded as one of FAMU's strongest legislative sessions, which included $40 million for the FAMU FSU College of Engineering Building C, again last year. It also included $10.5 million for additional PICO projects and an agronomic study. And there was $15 million in operational enhancement funding for a total of $65.5 million. By comparison, this year's result, apples to apples, totals $111.75 million. Focusing specifically on operational support, last year the university received $15 million in non-recurring operational funding. This year the total is $10 million, consisting, like I said, of $7 million in non-recurring with $3 million in recurring. That recurring component is particularly significant because recurring appropriations become a part of our university's ongoing funding base and continue into future years unless modified by the legislature. As a result, the $3 million recurring allocation strengthens our long-term financial position in a way that non-recurring funding cannot. Digging deeper into the $10 million operational enhancement this year, the allocation also ranks among the highest in the SUS, behind only Florida State University and Florida International University, and tied with the University of Florida. Looking at these operational enhancements from a per student perspective, which is precisely how some appropriators evaluate funding, I calculated the operational enhancement funding for each university using fall of 2025 undergraduate and graduate enrollment data. So FAMU's $10 million operational enhancement divided across approximately 10,000 undergraduate and graduate students amounts to roughly $1,000 per student. Using that same methodology, Florida State University's $26 million operational enhancement equates to approximately $590 per student, while Florida International University's $15.5 million operational enhancement equates to approximately $215 per student. And the University of Florida's $10 million operational enhancement equates to approximately $163 per student. While no two institutions are directly comparable, we all have a unique role to play. This perspective indicates the legislature invested in FAMU at a comparatively high level related to our respective enrollment levels. The bottom line is, while we did not receive everything we requested, this has been a successful year. The significant investment in Building C will unquestionably benefit FAMU students. Even without the Building C appropriation, FAMU experienced one of its strongest legislative sessions in recent history, which I take as a clear expression of the legislature's confidence in our trajectory. To conclude this portion of my conclude my update, as you know, this work takes a village. Please allow me to thank Speaker Perez, Senate President Albritton, and the entire legislative leadership team, along with Senators Roussan, Senator Davis, Rep. Franklin, Representative Tant, and all of the legislators' leadership that supported our efforts this session. I also want to thank you all as members of our Board of Trustees who are consistently engaged and inquisitive about this work and support our advocacy efforts, whether during FAMU Day or whether we ask for your assistance. I would like to also recognize Student Government Association, who kicked in hard during FAMU Day, so thank you for that as well. The National Alumni Association, and the many students, alumni, faculty, and staff who make sure our university's success is possible. And with that, Chair Figures, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, VP Robinson. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? No. If there are no questions, thank you so much for the update. We will now move to the next agenda item. One of this committee's responsibilities is to oversee performance evaluation processes of the board and the president. The policies and procedures outlined in subsection 10.6 of the board operating procedures are intended to promote consistency and objectivity in the board's approach to evaluating the president's performance and to codify for future reference the process. Section 1.0015G of the Board of Governors regulations require that the Board of Trustees to conduct an annual evaluation of the president, and that the chair of the board shall request input from the chair of the Board of the Governors, who may involve the chancellor, during the evaluation process pertaining to the responsiveness of the Board of Governors' strategic goals and priorities in compliance with the system-wide regulation. In accordance with subsection 1.0015G of the Board of Governors Regulations and section 4.3 of the Board Operating Procedures, the Governance Committee will oversee the annual evaluation process. The committee's responsibilities are to recommend the board annual goals for the president, lead the discussion of the president's annual performance evaluation based on the president's achievement of mutually agreed upon specified goals and objectives and such other criteria as the committee deems appropriate. Create and select an annual evaluation tool for the board's approval. Provide the board with a copy of the president's self-appraisal. Oversee the compilation of the evaluative informant. I'm sorry, I kind of got lost a little bit. I'm sorry. To oversee the evaluative information of each board member. Work with the president to provide to the board a draft of mutually agreed annual goals and objectives, and work with the general counsel to ensure compliance with the board's contractual obligations to the president. The annual evaluation of the president shall be guided by the following core principles. Objectivity. Objectivity extends to the criteria to be assessed, the process for completion of the evaluation, and the selection of persons who will participate in the evaluation. Clearly defined criteria that relate to the university's missions and goals. The criteria for evaluation encompasses an appropriate scope. The criteria include outcome standards that relate to the actions of the president, to the university's missions and goals, as well as the process criteria that describe the critical behaviors of effective leaders. The board, in the form of performance goals, will set the major outcome criteria each year. In addition to the performance goals, the board of the trustees will determine the performance indicators to be used to assess the president's attainment. Performance goals may vary from year to year. However, there are certain job-specific functions for each that will be evaluated each year, whether selected for emphasis that year or not. Well-planned schedule of implementation. The timetable for evaluation shall be established annually that provides an adequate period for data collection, review, and feedback. Clear policy for reporting and use. The governance committee shall be the point of contact for receiving and reviewing various types of information relevant to the job performance of the president. Review of the evaluation process. The governance committee will review and revise as necessary the evaluation process, procedures, and policy, and make recommendations for continuous improvement. Procedures of the annual evaluation of the president. Evaluation of the president will be performed on an annual basis required by the Board of Governors. Components of the evaluation include the president's self-appraisal, the compilation of results generated from responses of the president's annual evaluation form completed by the board, consultation with the chair of the Board of Governors pursuant to section 1.0015F of the Board of Governors Regulations, and the president's report of performance attainment made at the end of the fiscal year. The president shall submit a list of goals and objectives for the upcoming fiscal year to the board chair. The board's chair shall designate the goals and objectives to the governance committee. The governance committee chair will meet with the president to discuss the evaluation process, the president's proposed performance goals and objectives, and any feedback or suggestions by the president that may contribute to the evaluation process, the performance goals and objectives. The board, the president shall mutually agree upon the president's performance goals and objectives in accordance with the president's employment agreement. The president's yearly individual performance goals and suggested specific performance indicators shall be reflective of the long-term strategic goals of the university. The president's annual evaluation form. Between July 1st and September 30th of every year, the president's annual evaluation form, which contains specific and general performance rating scale items, will be distributed to and completed by the Board of Trustees. The trustees will also be provided a copy of the president's self-appraisal, the evaluation review and report. The governance committee will prepare a summary report using available evaluation data that consists of completed performance planning document, goals and indicators, and results of the president's evaluation form, specific and general items, and the president's self-appraisal. Payment of performance bonus. No later than October 31st of each year, the board shall take a vote on the payment of the performance bonus to the president. Upon approval by the board performance payment, such payment shall be paid within 60 days. The board's self-evaluation. The Board of Trustees Governance Committee Charter provides that the board will conduct a self-assessment annually. Additionally, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission of Colleges Principle of Accreditation 4.2G requires governing boards to regularly evaluate their responsibilities and expectations. This final item is a reminder that the timelines for the development of the president's goals, completion of our evaluation of President Johnson's, and the completion of our self-evaluation are provided to the committee materials. You will receive reminders from the staff as those dates approach. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? If there are no questions, is there any additional business before this committee?
Any additional business or comments, Madam Chair asked?
Okay, there being none, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll move back real quickly to our regular agenda. We are about 30 minutes ahead of time. What's the pleasure of this board? Do y'all want to take a quick break or do you want to move to the board meeting? Because you know what I want to do. Let's keep going. All right, that's what I like to hear. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the party going. Yes. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at Mr. Lee over there. We good, Tony? You need to find a member? All right, Tony, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. How about that? All right, we'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll get back into it. That's 5 minutes is serious 5 minutes. Hello, let's come back together. I gave Tony Lee his 5 minutes. Tony, did you find your member? Mike? It's always trustee Brown, gang. Brown, come on, man. He's talking about present. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need Kennedy. She's on the way back. She coming in the room now. There we go. All righty. Oh, there she is. Okay. Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you all to the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University Board of Trustees meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. Please, we're going to stand for a moment of prayer given to us by Trustee Brown and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, we'd like to thank you for gathering this day. We'd like to thank you for the work of our board and for this university, God. We thank you for the board and our president and the university leadership. We ask that you guide us during this meeting, God, and that you let our work reflect the students. And while we're here, God, and as we continue to do the work of Florida A&M University, we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we'll have the rattler charge by President Johnson. I'm just kidding. You ready to go? We're gonna have to deviate from our agenda just a tad. At this point, we are going to take a motion. Do we have that motion written already, folks? No? Iris, you not ready? Okay, we'll come back to it. Ms. Kim, do we have any public comments? Ms. Taylor? Oh, I'm sorry. Can we have roll call? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Can you pull the board? Roll call.
Trustee Brown,
Present.
trustee Crossman, trustee Figures,
Present.
trustee Gainey,
Here.
Chair Gibbons,
Here.
trustee Harris,
Present.
trustee Jones,
Present.
trustee Shaw, trustee Vasquez, trustee Washington, trustee White, trustee Williams,
Present.
trustee Young,
Present.
Chair Gibbons, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Are we ready or no? Oh, God, I hate when y'all text me. Hold on, ladies and gents. Okay, I move to amend the agenda to pull the LBR from consent agenda to an action item. May I have a motion? Looking for a motion.
So move.
I have a second.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None being, the motion passes. Thank you so much. We're gonna move now on the agenda to public comments. Do we have any public comments, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, we have two. The first is Mr. Zachary Ansley.
There we go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the board for allowing me to speak to you all. I am Zachary Ansley, a 52-year veteran of Florida A&M University and current president of the FAMU Rattler Boosters. On March 11th, I was asked to be on the steering committee for the One FAMU steering committee. And I was explained its mission, and its mission, if I can just synopsize it, is to do what I thought was appropriate, and I still think that, I believe it. That's to increase membership and donations for the boosters in order that we help supplement and support the athletic department. Speaking for the boosters as a DSO and only the boosters, we embrace that mission. We are not adversaries. We are one FAMU. My desire and the reason that I come before you today is merely to request that this initiative, as it progresses, is more embracing of the DSO's thoughts, ideas, and expressions. I think that those ideas are important rather than us being given a series of instructions that tell us what's best for us. It would have been nice, and I still think that it will be nice, and I do believe that this process will progress in a manner of cooperation. And as I said, we embrace effective membership and recruitment and soliciting of private and corporate donors. With that, we have heard just about everybody in here say that we love FAMU. And it is poetic, sounds good. But I learned when I was a little boy that love is not just what you say, it is what you do. I'd like to acknowledge President Johnson today, Mr. John Davis, and our head football coach. I asked them to show that they love FAMU and the Booster organization by just joining as a life member. And I bet you that you all would be surprised at how many folks that are in positions that foster everything good about FAMU that aren't Rattler boosters. So one of my jobs is to recruit booster members. So I listened to this board meeting today, and I know that a lot of our board members are corporate owners, and I ask that you all will join the life boosters as life members as well. Matter of fact, I bought you all an application. It's $750, but I told Mr. Davis, Coach, and I told Coach, and I told President Johnson, you can give as much as you like. Being that you are corporate owners, some of you, I'm going to ask that you show also your love by joining the boosters as a corporate donor. And those donors, of course, those donations, of course, are tax deductible. We also ask that you contact some of your friends and to tell them why you love this university and encourage them to join us. We need sponsors if we're going to help this university. So, as I said, I know I don't want to take up too much of your time. The One FAMU initiative, we have to make it a real initiative. Thank you, and I appreciate your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Any comments from the board members?
One more, we have
I
Colonel
know,
Ronald.
but hold on, Kim, any comments from board members? If not, Ms. Tatum Frederick. Once we finish the One FAMU, I'll join as a life member when y'all get the One FAMU thing set up. Because we need to have that, we don't need to get into a long discussion. I will join as a life member, and I'm sure a lot of other board members will do that as well, but I'm committed to do that. Let's move to the next person.
Colonel Ronald Joe.
Corporate member for me, okay, all right, Madam President.
Good afternoon. And with credit to Madam President and to members of the board, I realize it's late this evening, and that nonetheless that I hope you will bear with us because I think it's kind of necessary to say this. We, as members of support organizations for this great university, I'd like to say that I love FAMU. And I spent in my military career, the first 7.5 years, first 10, 12 years, I spent 7 years actually coming back in here and doing things in this university. And it's great. And it made it possible for us to do that. There is an initiative which is called the FAMU Alumni Engagement Council. And the idea is to bring that counseling forward, and it seems to us, have done something in terms of whether or not a direct support organization would have a council that would be above it, and that council would determine what would happen to the gift that people would give, both as DSOs and non-DSOs. And what we want to recommend is that you not pass that now, that we get together with direct support direct support organizations and organizations, as it has been passed out here today, who are very good contributors to FAMU and provides gifts to us. Let's say to them that we will get together and we will do everything we can to make sure that we don't stop people from giving to us. We should not have a committee that will say to us what happens to the money that is a gift to us. There may be a non-support, there may be a DSO, but they may still give the gift in mind that it would go to their cause. That committee, it seems to us, says that they would be capable of taking that gift and giving it to another cause. This is a bad day on the one hand because it's been so wonderful and what is said here, but we want to say that we should go from here loving FAMU, and we should do everything we can to get together, talk with each other, pass a committee if you need one, but that one that has on it members of DSO organizations and members that are not DSO organizations, but who always give to FAMU because we are so proud of it. Let's get together, we recommend, and have a committee put together, if you must have one, that does include members on it who are direct support organizations, who are non-direct support organizations, and are folks who just want to make a contribution. We believe and say to you that you should help us help you to get even greater contributions than you've already talked about today. We believe that with us working together, getting together, talking together, that the boosters, other direct support organizations, and the non-support organizations would like very much to do even more for FAMU. And if we can get that committee not to pass now, because we are also getting ready to have on the 22nd of August, the kickoff luncheon that we have on an annual basis. We're looking forward to working very hard to raise as much money as we can. We'd like as much support to help us do that. And if you will hold off, we think, in the passing of that bill until we get through the 22nd of August, it will be something that will be very valuable for all of us. And we can prove to you that we too, the boosters, the non-DSOs and DSO organizations can work very hard to increase the amount of money that we give to Florida A&M University as gifts, because we love it and we want it to be continuously the best. I was going to say the best university on the planet, so I'll go ahead and say that.
Thank
It's
you
the
so
best university on the planet, and we would still like to continue to give to it, and we would like to work with DSO and non-DSO and that council for the good of Florida A&M University.
Thank you so much. Okay, so that was a public comment. We are going to move to the video. Alonda?
Absolutely. Are you moving to the president's report? Or?
No, before the
Oh,
president's board. I
perfect,
got you.
okay.
Don't worry. We ain't going nowhere. I added something new to the agenda for the trustees, just so you know, a lot of the trustees are newer. And the faculty, staff, nobody really knows what we do. Trustee Young and I were talking about it at dinner last night. So we have a quick video every meeting now about, we're gonna have one on each one of the trustees. So the first one, we're starting out with, I'll let y'all see who it is, okay?
Greetings, everyone. I am Hannah Kirby, a recent graduate of Florida A&M University, and I have the honor today of speaking with Trustee Crossman. Trustee Crossman, if you would, please just introduce yourself, give us your title, and let us know how long you've served on the FAMU Board of Trustees.
Sure. It's great to be with you, Hannah. I am John Crossman, and I am the president and founder of Crossmark, which is a real estate investment company. And I'm also the founder and CEO of Crossman Career Builders, which is a business consulting firm. And I've been on the board for about 3 years. Well, my dad was a pastor and civil rights leader. And in 1970, he was given the nickname the Bridge Builder for his work in the civil rights movement. And my dad passed away a long time ago, but about 8 years ago, with the Republicans and Democrats working together, named an actual bridge after my dad, and it's in Maitland, Florida. You can Google Reverend Ken Crossman Bridge. And so that's a big part of my why, is that I love working in real estate and working in real estate projects. I'm a devout Catholic, and so I believe in making money and being profitable. At the same time, I really believe in community and doing all that we can to make communities stronger.
How do you utilize those skills within your role on the FAMU board?
Well, my big thing is two things. The first one is that I'm always trying to send a message to non-FAMUians. I've had the distinct honor and privilege of guest lecturing at every major university in the state of Florida. And I told this story today, I tell all the time, that if I took a group of friends of mine, other CEOs, business owners with me, and we guest lectured together at all the major universities in Florida, and we had one to go back to 100%, it would be Fort Hammond University. It's not even close. The experience as a guest lecturer at SBI, it's like a 10, and all the other universities are tied for like a 2 or a 3. So that's my first big thing. The second thing is promoting real estate education and the importance of real estate. I'd say real estate literacy. You know, some people talk about teaching financial literacy. I'm teaching real estate literacy. And I believe at FAMU and all HBCUs, talking about the importance of generational wealth, talking about home ownership, talking about businesses, and like what if you own a business and then you own the building that the business is in? I mean, these are key, cool things I think FAMUans are perfect for. People tell you they love something until you ask them to write the check, and then it turns out they like it, right? How do I know love is real? Love is real when someone chooses to sacrifice, a choice to sacrifice in investing in something. That's how I know Christ loved. That's how I want my family to know I love them. Like, I'm not going on this vacation because I want to take these resources and put towards them. And so to me, when I think about let's unite, make the sacrifices to invest in the future, that gets me really excited. And you think about all these different key issues we could talk about America and the world's facing. We could start right in Tallahassee, investing, sacrificing for these students, and then change the world. We're doing it. I firmly believe in that.
Thank you so much for all these wonderful answers, and thank you for your service to the Board of Trustees and to FAMU.
Thank you, Hannah, for being a graduate of this outstanding university. And I'm excited to cheer for you for the rest of my days.
I have the honor of sitting and talking with Trustee Williams. Now, Trustee Williams, could you please introduce yourself to us?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kennedy Williams. I am a senior history pre-law student from West Palm Beach, Florida, and I'm excited to be here with you all today.
What does it mean for you to be able to serve on this board, still being a student at the university?
I think it's very important. I think it's always important to have students at the table. I think it puts me in a very unique position because I'm able to be there for the students and get that student perspective. And I think that's something that's super unique with the SUS schools. I'm a third generation Rattler. My parents went to FAMU. My aunts and uncles went to FAMU. My grandparents went to FAMU. So FAMU I truly bleed orange and green.
As a student, what does FAMU Forever mean to you?
FAMU Forever means protecting the legacy of FAMU. We have had a long legacy since 1887, and it means continuing that the legacy is able to be sustainable as we enter into the next generation, the next century, that we're able to still see that FAMU pride, but that we're also able to improve throughout the year. So FAMU Forever means FAMU Forever, ensuring that we're always able to sustain this excellence and this spirit, but also that we're able to grow and expand internationally with other organizations, with other schools across the country, that we're able to expand our network. And I think that's what FAMU Forever means to me.
Yes, thank you so much, Trustee Williams. That is all I have for you today.
Dr. Thomas, thank you to you and your staff for putting that together. I really appreciate it. It is exactly what I wanted to do so these board members can get to know about each and every one of them. And we can get to know a little bit more about each other. So, and our staff and faculty will know more about what we're doing. Kennedy, thank you, and Trustee Crossman for being the first two. Trustee Crossman is one of the finest men that I know. And I didn't pick him first because he was white. I didn't pick him. So I'm just letting y'all know it had nothing to do with that. So we're gonna move on to the president's report. Madam President.
Thank you, sir. And you've done a great job with your Jedi mind trick, getting us very far ahead of the agenda. I'm going to try not to ruin it. So good afternoon, Chair. And
I had to go before you because I hear you got special guests and all
I
kinds of
do
stuff
have a
today.
special guest, and I'm
that's all kind of
extremely
crazy, right?
excited about her. Yes, absolutely. I do want to start by first reiterating Vice President Robinson's report from our Government Affairs Committee, and again express FAMU's gratitude to the legislature, to the governor's office for supporting critical foundational investments that we really need to help drive our mission forward. I know that we're not through the process. I trust that the governor will appreciate the value of the return on those investments as they consider the final approval of the recommended budget. I also just want to acknowledge my appreciation for the opportunity we have to do this work together. I know that I'll talk about a lot of things that have happened across the campus, but just know that even when I use I mean we, and when I mean we, it includes each of you. And I'm very excited to have you all as partners in advancing this institution. And so we'll start with a brief video highlighting some of our campus activities since our last board meeting.
Greetings, FAMU Board of Trustees, and welcome to our newest board member and SGA President, Kennedy Williams. FAMU is proud to be a founding member of the Association of HBCU Research Institutions, a national coalition of 15 historically Black colleges and universities partnering to accelerate world-class research, expand institutional capacity, and elevate HBCU leadership in addressing society's most pressing challenges. Member institutions will collaborate to increase the number of HBCUs achieving the notable R1 Carnegie classification, which is the highest designation for research activity. In celebration of America's 250th anniversary, students demonstrated creativity, critical thought, and civic engagement through FAMU's America 250 Essay Contest. Hosted by the Division of Academic Affairs and the FAMU Writing Resource Center, students examined America's past, present, and future through original essays and digital media presentations, exploring the themes of how identity, justice, opportunity, and progress will shape the next chapter of the nation's history. FAMU's annual 1887 Strikes Day of Giving raised more than $559,000 during 1887 minutes of collective generosity from 2,455 donors, of which more than 1,400 were first-time donors. Thank you for supporting student success. Days later, the FAMU community, friends, and advocates gathered to celebrate the installation of our 13th president, Marva Brown Johnson, during a university-wide investiture ceremony themed FAMU Forward, Advancing Excellence. Surrounded by family, elected officials, and representatives of the academic community, Johnson took the oath of office, pledging her steadfast commitment to faithfully execute FAMU's mission. The FAMU College of Agriculture and Food Sciences and Duke Energy Florida held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially unveil the Rattler Renewable Energy Center. This 74.9 megawatt solar energy site is located on 800 acres of land leased by FAMU's Brooksville Agricultural and Environmental Research Station, creating a powerful partnership between agriculture and innovation to benefit our students, neighbors, and the state. FAMU faculty and staff convened for a comprehensive strategic planning session designed to help shape the university's next era of institutional excellence and innovation. The day-long initiative brought together campus leadership and representatives from JP Morgan Chase to explore emerging trends in higher education, workforce development, artificial intelligence, and strategic accountability. Happy 80th birthday to the incomparable Marching 100, a band that continues to innovate and elevate the FAMU brand on national stages. This semester, the Marching 100 was tapped by Lionsgate Films to celebrate the legacy and artistry of Michael Jackson with a tribute performance leading up to the premiere of the biopic Michael. Meanwhile, invitations soon followed to perform with rappers Ludacris and three-time Grammy-winning FAMU alumnus Common, who called on his favorite marching band to perform Victory, the official theme song for the NBA on Amazon Prime. More than 1,200 ecstatic graduates turned their tassels to officially become alumni during FAMU's spring commencement ceremonies. Two powerful industry titans imparted pearls of wisdom and financial support for the College of Love and Charity. TIAA CEO Tashunda Brown Duckett and FAMU's own Omar Goff, end-to-end commercial leader of Head & Shoulders North America, both pledged $100,000 to help FAMU students reach their higher education goals. Goff's gift was also matched by his friends, Mael founders Melvin and Monique Rodriguez, demonstrating the power of FAMU connections. In closing, this report is presented in memory of Dr. Castell Vaughn Bryant, the first female interim president of Florida A&M University, who was laid to rest with a presidential homegoing ceremony in Lee Hall Auditorium. We honor her leadership as a trailblazer whose legacy was defined not only by the barriers she broke and the institutions she led, but by the faith, humility, and servant leadership that guided her life. The university continues to move forward, focused on student success, institutional excellence, and shaping the future of Rattler Nation. For Florida A&M University, I'm Dr. Alonda Thomas.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas and our comms team. You always do a phenomenal job with our video story. As you all may have noticed when you were walking into the grand ballroom today, and just as you heard in the video that was just played, FAMU is celebrating America's 250th anniversary. And we recently hosted an essay competition, and the lobby posters that you see featured in the hallway as you come in are from the essay contest winners who added their voices to the 250-year-old conversation and about what freedom means, who it belongs to, and what it still stands for. So if you didn't get to pay attention to them on your way in, please make sure that you get to look at them on your way out. And I want to thank again the Office of Academic Affairs and the Writing Resource Center for hosting this activity. And today I'm pleased to share an update on our strategic priorities and the progress that we've been making across the university. Since day one, I've been focused on three things, which is first and foremost, aligning our goals with the SUS 30 priorities and making sure that we are focusing on those goals with measurable outcomes. We need, of course, to build systems that actually allow us to track and report on our progress with credibility and fidelity. And then making sure that every division in the university is actually rowing in the same direction. They can roar in the same direction too, but we're going to row first. The presentation that you'll see highlights our progress in student success, research growth, and our financial stewardship, along with our external engagement. And so while there's a lot of work ahead, Chair, I'm very encouraged by the momentum we are building as a team and by the demonstrated excellence that we are creating across the institution. And so what you will see today is evidence of work that is working. And so if you are on slide 2, just to remind everybody, actually you can get back to the first slide, FAMU does not operate in isolation, and we actually cannot afford to. Our priorities are intentionally mapped to the State University System's 2030 strategic plan across 3 priority pillars. The first is to make sure that we are integrating our areas of expertise into our metrics. That means that we're mapping FAMU's research, our workforce strengths to our SUS priority sectors and tracking our progress towards those goals. The second is our focus on student success. And our focus on student success is actually number 1, but we don't know if we get there if we don't do the first metric that I mentioned. Increasing the percentage of our undergraduates in internships and experiential learning, monitoring and improving our Pell Grant student employment outcomes post-graduation, and supporting our 2+2 targeted pathways that track to a 3-year graduation rate. Then our third is strengthening the economic impact, expanding initiatives in philanthropic giving, corporate partnerships, and industry-sponsored research, which aligns with our SUS economic impact metrics. And so our wins in Florida get to count double. They advance FAMU's mission, and they strengthen Florida's competitive position. So accountability for us is not just a buzzword, and it is really foundationally our infrastructure. As such, one of our major priorities has been strengthening our institutional reporting and accounting systems. Over the last several months, we've made significant progress in identifying our data owners, improving our reporting processes, and creating more consistent methods for monitoring our performance. These efforts are helping to move us forward with a culture that is one that we can rely on because we have reliable, timely data to inform our decisions. As of May 2026, our dashboard and reporting workflows are well underway. We completed identification of data owners and reporting contacts validation. We are able to validate our institutional data sources. We're able to focus on development of draft dashboard frameworks, our collaborative divisional review meetings, and implementation of automated and semi-automated reporting pipelines. We have some items that are in progress, such as incorporating departmental feedback into dashboard designs, coordinating with ERP teams on direct data extraction, and establishing recurring updates and monitoring processes. We've got several dashboards that are already operational. The remaining integrations are being finalized in partnership with the departments and systems teams. The result is a more centralized, transparent, and continuously refreshed data environment, one that makes this institution easier to lead and easier to hold accountable. As mentioned, student success remains at the center of everything that we do. We continue to monitor key indicators related to enrollment, retention, graduation, and workforce outcomes. Several areas are performing well, while others require additional focus and intervention. Our objective is not only to recruit talented students, but also to ensure they persist, graduate on time, and enter meaningful careers or pursue advanced study. Through targeted support programs, improvised and improved advising, and enhanced student engagement strategies, we are working to strengthen our outcomes across the entire student experience. Our presidential goals scorecard tells a mixed but honest story. And I'm not in the business of hiding our gaps. So to be clear, we've done well with retention momentum. We've done well in showing that this is something we'll continue to perform strong in this area, where our first to second year retention has grown from 87.3% in fall of 2023 to 90% in the fall of 2026. And it's trending toward an 88 to 90% target. And that's real progress. For access and equity, we've accomplished this. We are showing Pell recipient enrollment at 56% against a 56% target, on track for sure, and reflective of our institutional commitment to access. For the enrollment pipeline, we've got some work to do there. Our first time in college enrollment stands as of fall at 1229 against our fall 25 target, which was 1,500. So we were below target coming into this year, but as you heard from Dr. Hudson, we are well on our way to make up and over recover that gap for our fall 2026 class. For completion outcomes, those are also in progress. Our 4-year graduation rate has climbed to 35% in the fall of 2024 to 42.6% in the fall of 2026, which is trending toward our 55% target. Our 6-year rate shows some volatility and require our continued attention. Our graduation growth rate is at risk. Our master's enrollment stands at 561 against our goal of 660. We've got research doctoral at 253 against a goal of 320, and professional doctoral at 553 against a goal of 680. And this is our area of most urgent focus. And I know that the provost has some strategies underway to help lead that to a successful recovery. Our workforce outcomes are strong. Our graduate employment and wages are improving, with employment rates rising from 66.9% to 73% since fiscal year 2022. So this tells us that our graduates are competing and they are winning. So that's fantastic news for performance. Research growth continues to represent one of the university's greatest opportunities. Our research expenditures have steadily increased over the last several years, which is reflective of the outstanding work of our faculty, our researchers, and our academic leaders. This growth demonstrates that FAMU is continuing to build the capacity necessary to compete at the highest levels. Today, our total R&D expenditures have grown from $47.1 million in 2021 to $85.1 million in fiscal year 2025. That's an increase of over 80.7% over 4 years, with a 16.3 year-over-year jump in the most recent period alone. Every year-over-year change in this period has been positive. This metric is progressing and trending well towards our 2027 targets. Achieving Carnegie R1 remains an important long-term aspiration. While that journey requires sustained investment and continued growth, the trends here indicate that we are moving in the right direction and that we are establishing a strong foundation for our future success. The trajectory that we see in front of us does not happen by accident. It happens because our faculty are competing, our researchers are producing, and our administration is clearing the path for them to do so. Our doctoral enrollment is another critical component of our research strategy. We've experienced growth in doctoral enrollment compared with previous years, and those gains are helping to strengthen our graduate education ecosystem. Although additional increases will be needed to achieve our long-term targets, we are encouraged by the progress that has been made. Moving forward, we will continue investing in programs, faculty support, and research opportunities that attract and retain high-quality doctoral students while supporting our broader R1 readiness efforts. One of the most significant research developments this year is FAMU's role as a founding member of the Association of HBCU Research Institutions, affectionately known as ARI. ARI is a national consortium developed in partnership with the Association of American Universities, which is the highest level of research. This is one of the most prestigious higher education bodies in this country. That partnership gives FAMU direct access to the best practices from the nation's leading research institutions and universities. It creates expert guidance for our R1 Carnegie classification roadmap, and it creates a national platform for us to pursue large-scale federal research funding. ARI launched in April of 2026 in Washington, D.C. with strong national media visibility and with a successful inaugural research symposium. As a founding member, FAMU is not merely participating in this network, we are shaping the direction and the priorities of this network. ARI directly accelerates our R1 timeline by expanding our doctoral production, increasing our research output, and positioning FAMU within a national HBCU research infrastructure that is built for the long game. The board can expect regular updates on our R1 metrics, our RE funding outcomes, and our partnership developments. Another encouraging indicator is the continued increase in our research doctorates awarded. Doctoral growth is not a vanity metric. It is actually an R1 prerequisite. The university has now experienced multiple consecutive years of growth in doctoral degree production. These outcomes reflect both the strength of our graduate programs and the dedication of our faculty mentors who support these students throughout their academic journey. Increasing doctoral production is essential to enhancing our research profile, expanding our national competitiveness, and advancing our aspiration of becoming a premier public research institution. And here's where we stand right now. For research doctoral enrollment, we've increased from 237 in the fall of 2024 to 253 in the fall of 2025. That's a gain of about 16 students and an enrollment gain that falls above the fall 2021 levels. Our targets for fall 2026 and fall 2027 are 320 and 330 respectively, which we have a lot of work to do to make that a reality, and the team is willing to do it and putting in the hours as you speak. Research doctorates awarded is another category that we're focused on. We now have completed 3 consecutive years of growth, from 28 awards in fiscal year 2021, 2022 to 33, then 41, then 43, from years 2024 to 2025. This is a 54% increase over the period that exceeds our 2027 trajectory. So this is in an accomplished status. This reflects the strength of our graduate programs and the faculty who mentor our doctoral students through completion. Sustained investment in these programs, people, and research opportunities will actually carry us the rest of the way. I did also want to mention, because I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary, and there was a whole list of things that people wanted to make sure that I covered in that first year, and a lot of it was building relationships and establishing a strong network. I recently completed not 1, not 2, but 3 programs through the HBCU Executive Leadership Institute. I participated in the Willoughby Players, HBCU Presidents for women leaders. I participated in the New Presidents Program and also in the President's Affinity Group Program. I did want to thank Trustee White for participating along with me in the President's Affinity Group. That group is designed with a special purpose to make sure that presidents and boards work together to ensure the sustainability of leadership at our universities and our institutions. And I just want to thank him again for committing that time. We already talked a little bit about the advancement revenue, so I don't need to go into that again. We have a strong financial stewardship position, and it remains a top priority for us to continue to improve for this administration. We've accomplished quite a bit here. Our cash to debt benchmark has been exceeded by more than 360%. Our net operating revenues, we've managed to return to a positive margin of 2.3% in fiscal year 2025 after the previous year's dip. We've actually had a strong return on net assets. It's improved by 8.1%. And we're currently at 113 days below the 206-day benchmark for our days cash on hand. So again, all good progress. The interactive dashboards and key performance indicator matrices are actively populated and maintained. If you ever want to see any of these great data points or have questions about any of them, please feel free to reach out to Dr. Jones. These tools are giving our leaders greater visibility. They're creating a shared accountability framework and allowing us to identify opportunities to address challenges before they compound. I want to close by focusing on our external partnerships and brand visibility. We finally get to recognize some of our partners because they play a critical role in elevating the university's visibility and expanding opportunities for our students. Our partnerships elevate us, and we are being intentional about the ones that we build. A strong example is the Esteemed Summit, which is hosted here at FAMU and founded by actress, producer, and change maker Melinda Williams. Esteemed, which stands for entrepreneurship, science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and education, blends mentorship and professional development to affirm the brilliance and potential of collegiate HBCU scholars. This is not a photo opportunity, though we would like to get the board up for a photo before she leaves. This is a pipeline development. It is brand alignment and student investment all rolled into one. These partnerships not only enrich the student experience, but also strengthen the FAMU brand, expand our national reach, and reinforce our reputation as an institution committed to excellence and impact. So you don't have to take my word for it anymore, Chair Gibbons. I'm going to bring up Mrs. Williams, who is here with us today, to come to the podium for some brief remarks about our partnership.
See, you
Thank
about to be
you.
like Trustee Brown. You going over. I'm just messing with you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, President Johnson. Good afternoon, Chair Gibbons, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished guests. I am truly honored and I am so blessed to be here with you today. My name is Melinda Williams, as she said. I'm an actress and co-founder of the Arise and Shine Foundation, a nonprofit with a mission to expand education, access, and opportunity for our under-resourced, underserved, and underestimated communities. This week, that mission comes to life here on the campus of Florida A&M University through the esteemed Summit, HBCU Coding Bootcamp, and App Challenge. Our STEAM training program equips students with the skills to design tech solutions that address real-world challenges while also investing in their personal growth, confidence, and well-being. We believe that preparing students for success requires more than technical training and education. It also requires developing the whole person. Since launching in 2024, we have served nearly 200 students representing 21 states and 30 HBCUs. Arise and Shine has supported the creation of more than 150 apps, deployed over 100 devices, and awarded $115,000 in scholarships. Many of our participants return eager to continue building on what they learned and to deepen the connections with their esteemed community. One of our proudest examples is here with us today on campus. Her name is Alexis D. Dameron, and she returns as our Summit student coordinator. She's an alumna from the inaugural program and has returned not only as a mentee, but also as a leader, helping to support the next generation of esteemed scholars. When we envision the future of this program, we know we need more than just a host institution. We need partners whose commitment to excellence and student success reflect the values we also strive to instill in every one of our participants. Florida A&M University is that partner. For generations, FAMU has developed leaders and change makers whose impact extends far beyond this campus. And we're especially proud that the FAMU spirit is represented within our own team through wellness facilitator and proud FAMU alumna, Kiana KJ Rose Henson, whose work helps our students build confidence, resilience, and self-belief. As we look ahead, we remain committed to expanding opportunities for students, increasing scholarships and access to education and wellness. And we know this work is only possible through strong partnerships with institutions like FAMU. On behalf of the Arise and Shine Foundation, thank you, thank you, thank you again and again, President Johnson, members of the board, and the entire FAMU community for welcoming us so warmly onto your beautiful campus and for your partnership and commitment to student success. We look forward to returning year after year and building more together in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Williams. Please, Mrs. Williams, I'm going to honor my chair, and this is going to be the end of the president's report, and he's over there very relieved. But I did want to.
I'm actually not.
I did want to invite you, please, to take a photo with our board. And I think the chair would like to make comments before you actually sit down.
It would be my honor. Absolutely.
Could we take the photo first?
Thank you, Madam President. You were correct. I had the opportunity to meet Miss Williams out in the hallway, and I had met her when I lived in LA. I was so awestruck and smitten by her the first time I met her in that restaurant. But it is a complete honor to have a 3-time NAACP Image Award winning actress, a 2012 Black Film Festival, American Black Film Festival Best Performance Actress, by, in the movie Soul Food. And then I started writing these down, Ms. Williams, as you were talking, the movies that I remembered that you were in. So I'm gonna go through them and you tell me if I was wrong on any of them, okay?
Listen, I know it's been a long day.
Listen, don't worry. I get out of here one day. They know we don't get out of here. Marry Me for Christmas, Soul Food, The Wood, First Sunday, High School High, Uninvited Guest, Daddy's Little Girls, a thin line, and I think, what was the other one? Something to death.
Oh, yes, that was loved. Listen,
Love to death. That was
yes,
it. I
there's
couldn't remember
plenty.
the first part of it. So
Yes.
we want to say thank you for always being here and being a part and having this on our campus. And in fact, the president and I were conferring, and we just renovated a building I think that your program is in. And I'm going to ask Miss Tatum Frederick and the president, we're going to lead an effort to name a room after you and your program in that particular fundraising for these students. And so we can have your name and your program on the door in that particular room. So thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Now you can come up here and take a picture with all
Woo,
these.
thank you so much.
beautiful men and
That is
women.
incredible. Thank
No,
you.
thank you. Thank you for not forgetting. We have to not forget where we come from. And
That's right.
the fact that you are doing this for these young students, coding is a vital program. It is a great program and it allows for young people to not only have their hands not be idle, but to learn something that they can utilize in the future. So thank you for continuing in that effort, and thank you. And FAMU will be here as long as I'm here to support you. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
We're on balance. Come on over here, bro. No. I'm short. All right, all eyes right here. Okay. Right here. Are we centered? Good. Okay. Good. 1, 2, 3. So right there. 2 more. 1 more. Okay. Put the red strike sign up. There we go. Right there. 2 more. Thank you.
I fell right in. I fell right in.
What? Okay. Well, we have, yeah, exactly. You pick. All right, moving right along. We're gonna move on to the chairman's report, and I can promise you this is gonna be short. My report, we've already done the campus safety report with Lieutenant Gordon. I'm kind of glad we did that this morning and we got it out of the way. Thank you to the police, FAMU Police Department and staff. That was an excellent report. I think all the board members know what we have to do moving forward, and I think it'll be a huge success. I am going to run through a couple of things. I want to thank Mike White, my vice chair, for bringing up the fact that we need to review the procurement policies. I want to thank Brandy Tatum Frederick and President Johnson for making up the gap that we had. I've had several calls from funders, and they have raved about your pick for the foundation and how she has pushed the envelope to get her and her staff to get us to where we are. So I want to thank her, Jennifer, Nick Dulcio, the whole staff, along with Trustee Crossman, because ultimately he's the person that comes up with all these plans and gets it accomplished for us with the president. So I appreciate it. Vice President Robinson, thank you for your efforts in the legislative process this year. Again, thank you for all the stuff that we got accomplished. We did a good job. I want to thank Trustee Brown with this DRS committee. This thing is difficult, but we're gonna get it licked and we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna move agenda forward in a positive manner and get something accomplished there. Thank all the coaches and AD Davis. Thank you for having them here today and also moving our agenda forward in terms of athletics. But I want that trophy next year here, not at Bethune-Cookman. For our dinner last night, let me thank Tony Lee, Kim Taylor. Thank you for last night and today. Also, I want to thank Yolanda for helping us last night as well with the dinner and getting that all organized. Oh, I want to make this point about one thing. Trustee Lawson, COO Lawson, thank you. And Madam President, the groundskeeping looks phenomenal, especially out in front of Lee Hall. I think we're moving in the right direction. It's starting to look like the college campus we wanted to be, and it's gonna be safe like the college campus we want it to be. So thank you all. Thank you for all the trustees. I forgot one person, Angela Suggs, last night. I got her written down here. Thank you, Miss Suggs. I don't know what her title is. She got like a Jamaican job. She got like all the stuff.
Olivia
She do
Pope.
like 14 things. So Miss Suggs, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And that really is the chairman's report. And then I want to say thank you to the trustees for a great dinner last night and also for being prepared today. We moved along this agenda, I think, very well. So thank you all so much for being here and also being prepared. Trustees online, thank you as well. I think we have done a lot of work over the last couple of weeks and have moved this agenda along. I'm looking forward to our retreat, unless I hope you are, and it will be action-packed, but it will also be a little bit of fun, but more so work for us to get things accomplished so that we can continue to do what we're doing here. So that's my chairman's report. I'm gonna move on now to the Student Government Association report. Trustee Williams.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here before you all today. And good afternoon to the trustees on the board. I do want to make a acknowledgement to someone in the gallery. My wonderful Vice President, Monquarius Williams, is here.
Stand up. There you go.
And so a lot of the things that you'll be hearing about in this report, I couldn't have done without him. I also do want to acknowledge Dillard High School that came in for a few seconds there, and they did a comprehensive training with SGA over the past few days, and they have some things that they can take back to their own SGA down in Dillard. Oops, I'll go back. Oh, I figured it out. Okay. All right. So we're going to be talking about a few things that we were able to accomplish over the past month of our tenure here at the Student Government Association. So the first thing is our NASAP Student Leadership Institute, our SGA officer training that will be coming up on August 12th, inauguration, and also homecoming 2026 updates. So we did it to NASAP Student Leadership Institute this past month, May 26th through June 1st. It was in Claflin University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And NASAP is a National Association of Student Affairs Professionals and Student Leadership Institute. It's a 6-day retreat, and it's an intensive leadership development program designed exclusively for newly elected HBCU leaders. And so now it's on its 29th year. Florida A&M normally attends NASAP every year, and it brings together not only SGA, but student government associations from everywhere, Royal Court members, Greek Council officers, as well as student ambassadors. And so one of the reasons that we attended is because it allows FAMU to be exposed to a national level of HBCU leadership and programming. We're able to bounce off ideas from other student government associations and then apply them to our own SGA here at Florida A&M. It helps develop competencies in our own governance, community service, and campus leaderships, and it brings back best practices and innovative ideas back to Florida A&M's campus. And so we did take 9 delegates. So one of those is myself, my vice president. We also took our chief of staff, Caitlin Smith, our SGA Secretary of State, Zoe Ray Robinson, our Senate President, Harmony Person, our Senate President per tempore, Jabari Mackey, our Mr. FAMU, Evan LaSure, our Queen of Orange and Green, Nikisha Francois, and our CAB director. So we had a great mix of student leaderships from across campus to get the exposure that we needed. And so each day of the week was based off of a different African principle. Tuesday was Umoja, which is togetherness. Kuchi Kujalia was Wednesday. Thursday was Ujima. Friday, Ujama. Saturday, Kumba. Sunday, Nia. And Monday, Imani. And so one of the things that we wanted to highlight on this year's trip was key takeaways. And so what we did every day, at the end of the day, we did a comprehensive analysis of what we experienced over the days. And we were able to take conflict resolution from some of the students' perspectives. We were also able to explore civic advocacy. And one thing that we were able to hone in on was exploring a Vote HBCU, Equal Ground, and Black Yard Renaissance tour as a model for our own collective civic engagement beyond the campus, as this is a very important election year coming up for the state of Florida. We also were able to re-solidify our own team structures, and we were able to emphasize that every role, no matter how small, is important. We were able to develop our own leadership identities, focus on our event programming, and then also hone back into our media and social media marketing strategy as we transfer over from the different SGA accounts to now using the FAMU SGA official page. And so here are a few words from a few of the students that attended. I'll start with my vice president. We focused on ways to maximize our tenure through new technology, trends, content ideas, and modernized leadership adopted at NASAP. So NASAP was a super unique experience because it allowed a different exposure to some students who might not necessarily be exposed to other HBCUs and what they are implementing there. And it also allowed us to connect with HBCUs that are more similar to our own, such as NCAD and Morehouses. And so what we're bringing back to FAMU, so we yielded over 16 FAMU focused ideas, but here are the 4 things that we're honing in on for this next tenure. And so we're bringing back our conflict and communication. We're introducing the Behold conflict resolution method and emotional intelligence frameworks into our SJ orientation, cabinet training, and campus culture programming. We're also focusing on civic advocacy. We're partnering with HBCU-wide platforms like Nationwide Vote HBCU, Equal Ground, and Black Yard Renaissance Tour to build our campus collective civic engagement campaigns. We're also honing in on that campus activities board and SGA collaboration, and we're formalizing an SGA and CAB mixer to include SGA and CAB planning processes and honor the campus activity boards as at FAMU convocations as full-fledged members of the student leadership on campus. And then we've also were able to hone in on the royal court systems and create a collaborative document that we will be using to ensure collaboration amongst both of our organizations. And so we have an SGA officer training coming up on August 12th through the 14th. I invite members of the board and members of the gallery to attend if you're able to. But the purpose of our training is to equip all of our newly elected SGA officers across our different branches with the knowledge, tools, and relationships needed to effectively serve in their positions. What we're focusing on this year is governance. We're working on parliamentary procedure, constitutionality of everyone's duties, budget management, interbranch communication, as well as event planning protocol and FAMU governance structures. So we have a mafia alignment, which aligns with my vice president's and I's platform points, those of which is mobilizing the student experience, academic excellence, fostering unity across campus, investing in student success, as well as activating civic engagement across campus. And so as a result, we hope that all of our onboarded officers are ready prior to fall 2026 with a shared understanding of our administration's priorities and how they can apply them in their positions and outside of their roles. And so finally, the thing you've been waiting for, inauguration. So I would love to see you all at our inauguration coming up on September 25th. This is a tentative save the date. The time is still forthcoming. And so we all know the significance of an SGA inauguration, but details will be forthcoming, such as dress code, program schedule, etc. So homecoming 2026 updates, planning progresses, and key milestones. So we have begun the theme selection. We are awaiting the final theme confirmation by the overall homecoming steering committee. We have begun planning event programming. The week of events calendar is solidified, but again, it's waiting approval by the overarching homecoming steering committee. We are still working on vendor sponsorships with the FAMU Foundation, and corporate sponsorships have already been drafted. And so logistics and operations as well is still in its early stages of planning. However, we have venues identified for our different events for the upcoming homecoming. And then our homecoming theme is scheduled for release tentatively July 10th, and the concert reveal will be held at Ken Raleigh Field at Bragg Memorial Stadium, August 29, 2026, during FAMU's first home game like last year. Our content and web specialist search, we are in the process, my vice president is in the process of identifying a top content and web specialist. They've identified their top 3 candidates, and they'll be tasked with creating a detailed graphic campaign based on a randomly assigned homecoming theme, and final reviews will be reviewed by the vice presidents and Office of Communications for the decision. And so upcoming milestones, June 17th is a faculty homecoming steering review review meeting. June 18th, the student committee receives the official confirmation of the approved theme. And the week of June 22nd, the student leads will begin meeting with their respective faculty leads and Ms. Mary Brown to discuss expectations, planning timelines, and event development. And then July 1st is our second round of detailed event proposals from all our teams. So we also were able to complete a constitutional convention. So our Student Government Association was able to conduct a full constitutional convention to review, debate, and ratify amendments to our own student body constitution. That hasn't been done in over 3 years. So I'm super proud of the legislative branch for taking that initiative. The delegates from across SGA, including those of executive branch, Senate, and J branch representatives, were able to participate in this process. It ensured that our governing documents were obviously up to date in accordance with the nuance of things as we enter into 2026. And all amendments are currently awaiting ratification by our Judicial and Rules Committee. And we also were able to work hand in hand with Professional Roger Mitchell at the FAMU College of Law to help oversee our documents. GPA standards, one thing that I'm super proud of is in accordance with the other SUS schools, we have now updated the GPA standards for SGA to a 3.0 minimum. And that's something that's super important because the SUS schools, as well as Morehouse and Spelman, all have a high standard of GPA for the SGA officials. And we wanted to make sure that we were all able to be in alignment with that. And so we have our ANS training as well coming up on June 23rd. It will go over ANS funding procedures, allowable expenditures, operational requirements, monthly reporting expectations, budget management and compliance guidelines, as well as important deadlines and available resources. And then our SGA week of events is scheduled for, excuse me, September 21st to the 25th, with Sunday, September 20th being our worship service, Monday, the 21st being our open house. Again, I invite you all to attend. Tuesday, our event is still to be determined. Wednesday is our Rattler roundtable discussion on current events and political awareness. Thursday, September 24th, we'll be having an SGA versus CAB versus Royal Court basketball game. So everyone in here who can hoop, please, I want to see you all there. And then Friday, of course, is our inauguration. And all event times are still under review. And then here are a few pictures of some of the things that we were able to accomplish. Here's my first FSA meeting. Congratulations to Ian Siebert there at FSU for winning his position. Here's our delegation at NASAP, my vice president and I. We also have a newsletter on our Instagram page if you guys ever want to follow along with us as well. And we did a Rattler intern spotlight, and I did win an award at NASAP. So yes. Thank you all so much. That concludes my report.
Madam President.
I just want to acknowledge the attention to detail you put into your report. I love getting the schedule in advance and seeing your vision and planning today for everything that is to come for the rest of the year. It looks like you're off to an amazing start. And I'm sure you will let us know what we can do to make sure that all of the plans that you have so thoughtfully prepared with your leadership team and with your legislature come to fruition. So please let us know how we can make sure that your success is our success.
President Johnson.
Great report, Trustee Williams. Ms. Taylor, would you make sure that you take the dates that she put in this report and send it out to all trustees so that we have it for our calendars? I'm looking at you like that. I'm looking at you like that. I want you to know. I'm gonna tell Gainey, I'm gonna have Gainey pull his pants leg up.
Watch out.
The faculty senate report will start now. You're on the clock.
Thank you, Chair Gibbs. Right. Oh, for the slides. Okay. Yeah. All right, so faculty center report, engagement highlights. I did want to acknowledge some of our faculty that are in the room, some of our faculty senators. I do see our two senior leadership members. Would y'all mind standing really quick? This is Dr. Idol and then also Dr. Daniel Osborne, also a part of the senior leadership team. Thank you all for all the work that you do, as well as we have our representatives for the Dean's Council, Dr. Kyle Harris, and also Dr. Mathis. And so we're thankful for all of our members and all the senators. All right, so want to talk about some different events and things that we had going on in the spring. One that we'll highlight is Faculty Day. This was our third annual Faculty Day. This was the third time we've been able to do that celebration. A great event that we've been having. The president's office has continued to play a very key role in that event with sponsorships and different programming. The same for the office of the provost. So we're thankful for that, and we'll go through that. The provost and I got an opportunity to do teaching and innovation, a tour for research tracks and for teaching tracks. Of course, the presidential investiture down at the Brooksville Center, and also for the solar farm. So first, I want to talk about Faculty Day. Once again, I want to thank Provost Watson's office for always securing that speaker for us. We had Dr. Henson, who came and spoke at this event. Amazing programming. At this event, we've had a photo booth, DJ music, dunking booth, massages, and just learning and refreshing. You see a copy of our shirts that were made. Stronger Together was the theme. And so this year we did it out on Pattyfoot Lawn, and it was a great time and celebration for faculty to be able to get together. Have quite a few pictures in there. I do want to give a shout out to it. If you look in the second picture on the right side with those with the students, these are our work study students in the Faculty Senate office that are pictured there with our coordinator, Ms. Denard. I really want to give them a shout out for the hard work that they've done towards the event and towards the different initiatives this semester. President Johnson and her team came to the event, and we were so happy to be able to spend time with her and her team as they supported the event as well. And we had a fish fry. Thank you all. You see, we had the massages as well too. This is something that we've been able to do every year, so that was a really nice event. All right, faculty feedback. So I want to thank just the entire team, Provost Watson and her team, as well as President Johnson. One of our strategic priorities was making sure that faculty had an opportunity to just continue in the feedback loop model and shared governance. And I think this was an amazing display of our collaboration. So myself and Provost Watson, we got on our little golf cart choo-choo train, and we did tours around the campus to the different colleges and schools. And the purpose was to get feedback from faculty about teaching tracks and research tracks. At a very high level, as a lot of you know, at a lot of the R1 institutions and at a lot of our SUS institutions, faculty are able to break into those different designations, and being able to focus in those areas really lead to outcomes of being more productive, including, better for R1 status. So once again, for the teaching track, for those teaching research, the other, just for time purposes. These are an example of the different colleges and schools that we went to. I put a picture on the side, the Google Gemini stopped by. Last night at our dinner, we talked about AI and we talked about integration for the students. This was the event that I was speaking about. I believe we were one of the first schools, Provost Watson. We were the first school, yes. The Office of the Provost reported we were the first school that Google Gemini came to. And it was an amazing event because the students were out in the Pattyfoot Lawn, and they got an opportunity to walk up to computers and say, hey, give me an example of your lesson plan. And it showed the students how to make flashcards. It showed them how to make study. It showed them the different teaching models. And so from our conversation yesterday, I really appreciate the opportunity for the students hands-on and the faculty too, to touch the computers and to really understand how the Google Gemini system that's integrated with the university is helpful to them. So these are just different pictures from across the university. As we were riding on our tour, we ran into Chancellor Rodriguez and President Johnson as well. So it was a great opportunity. Sitting with the different faculty, that was a good opportunity. Let's keep going. At CAFS, SBI, we went everywhere. Listening before implementation. So faculty were invited to react to the model, talk about the concerns, help to shape the next steps, and just trying to be data informed as well too. And so faculty felt that they were co-creators in that process as it relates to those different functions. So what do we learn from the tour? Just high level feedback. One, we learned that faculty are generally open to the differentiated pathways for teaching and research. Two, the support, faculty wanted support to be based on clear criteria, fairness, transparency, and proper resources. Three, faculty wanting R1 type of support systems and more graduate programs to maintain status. One thing that was very eye-opening is the amount of faculty that are truly passionate about having and developing more of those programs in their schools. Looking at the balance of the roles for them. Number 5, looking at how the workload expectations would be laid out. 6, the persons that are focused on the teaching did not want to feel that their roles are not as valued as the persons that were in the research. For 7, making sure that those research pathways, how are they comparable to what our SUS and other peers are doing so that faculty actually have the space, the travel, the teaching assistants, and in that case, equipment, and also post-award infrastructure. At a lot of the institutions with the charge of the research, faculty are given a lot of those packages. And so we know those are some of the resources needed. For the teaching pathway, same thing, a need for classroom technology, TAs, pedagogy development, and then for loads. 9, they talked about the model being able to strengthen student success, research productivity, morale, and recruitment. And then 10, faculty just wanted more continual dialogue in that. Presidential investiture. Faculty Senate presence in institutional ceremony, academic tradition, and university leadership. If you all did not see this picture on the left, this was how beautiful this room was done for the investiture. I just want to give a shout out to the entire committee that did that planning. This room looked like something that weddings and balls and Tyler Perry movies would be held in. And so that was a very beautiful event. Thank you to President Johnson and your team for allowing me to do the invocation at that event as well. Moving down the road to Brooksville. So down at the Brooksville Agricultural and Environment Research Station, this was a great opportunity where the ribbon cutting was, and also for the solar panels. And also there was an opportunity to be able to tour the Brooksville Center. Myself and the Trustee Young were there, and also with the leadership team. And so we got an opportunity to really talk to the farmers in the field. We got a chance to engage with the researchers and a lot of the people that are down at that facility. And Dean West and his staff and the entire group were absolutely amazing. We had alumni there as well too. This is a picture of one of the researchers, and they have a horse striker, two horses that are there, and also one of the research labs. And so really looking forward to the opportunity of seeing more of those things. I know earlier we talked about the legislative budget requests. I also just wanted to encourage us caregivers to see what opportunities we may have to be able to engage as a group down at the Brooksville facility. I think the group would be.
I would love to have a meeting down there. We just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Get with the president and then we can have a meeting. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. The group would be very happy to see our presence there. All right. Rattler Solar Center that we talked about, just some of the stats that came from it. 74.9 megawatts of clean energy capacity. Those pictures were 210,000 solar panels that are going to power 23,000 homes annually. So it's a very big thing for us, stepping and walking continually in land grant and FAMU being positioned in that area as an agricultural school. Partnerships and closing synthesis, that FAMU and Duke Energy partnership. It's low risk, high investment, strategic land use. That was very strategic for the university. And this report just talked about faculty appreciation, the voice, ceremony, and just very grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with everyone in the university on these initiatives? Chair Gibbons, that concludes my reports.
10 minutes, 11 seconds.
Thank you, President Johnson.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Faculty Senate President Brown.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate you today. I thought we were gonna have death by
No, you didn't.
by PowerPoint today, but we didn't. Okay, so we're moving right along. We're gonna move to the committees, reports, Academic and Student Affairs Committee report. Brown, you're up.
The Academic and Student Affairs Committee met today. The following trustees were present: Jamal Brown, Kenneth Jones, Rafael Vasquez, and Kennedy Williams. A quorum was established. The committee recommended approval on the following items: the minutes for the February 12th, 2026 meeting, tenure recommendations, FAMU 2027 to 2028 general education course list, specialized admissions, amendment to regulation 2.015, which was based in admissions, a new degree program of the PhD in biology, and submission of the grant for the Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program. The committee also heard updates on enrollment, FCS transfer, student success, curriculum mapping, and posting review. Chair Gibbons, that concludes the report.
Thank you, Chair Brown. We're moving to Audit Risk and Compliance. Chair Crossman, you recognize.
Earlier today, the Audit Risk and Compliance Committee met. The committee took up 4 action items. The first item was approval of the minutes from the February 12th, 2026 meeting. The other items approved and moving forward for full board consideration are approval of the Division of Audit Annual Work Plan, approval of the Division of Audit Charter, and approval of the ERM Annual Work Plan. These items are included in the full board consent agenda for consideration of approval. We also received informal updates on plans and audit. Also pursuant to 5.9 of the board operating procedures, the committee added and improved an action item requesting independent assessment and investigation of the National Alumni Association spending, travel practice, and related governments and internal controls. Finally, Chair White led a discussion related to procurement transformation and emphasis on policies. Chair Gibbons, this includes our report.
Thank you, Chair Crossman. Budget, Finance, and Facilities, Chair Gainey, you recognized.
The Budget, Finance, and Facilities Committee met today. Following trustees were present: Brown, Gainey, Gibbons, Young, which established a quorum. Committee recommended approval of the following items: the minutes from the February 12th committee meeting, 26-27 operating budget, the 27-28 fixed capital outlay budget, continuing services contract authority, construction management contract authority, approval of building acquisitions, athletic debt forgiveness, extended financial and workday support services, and the approval of multi-year contract with Sharon Jenkins. Committee also heard 2 informational items: the quarterly financial report, the budget to actuals, and workday update. And Chair Gibbons, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chair Gainey. Governance Committee, Chair Figures, you recognize.
Thank you so much, Chair Gibbons, and good afternoon, everyone. The Governance Committee met today and approved the February 12th, 2026 committee minutes. The 2027-2028 legislative budget request was recommended to be approved by the full board. The following agenda items were discussed. VP Michelle Robinson provided an update on government relations, including the status of the 2026-2027 legislative budget, the timelines for President Johnson's goal setting and the evaluation process, as well as the board's self-evaluation process, were also presented. Before concluding, I would like to thank President Johnson, Vice President Robinson, Provost Watson, and my fellow board members for their continued dedication and service to FAMU. I truly appreciate the time and effort everyone has invested in advancing our university's mission and strategic priorities. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Chair Figures. Direct Support Organization and Athletics, Chair Crossman, you recognize.
The Direct Support Organizations Intercollegiate Athletics Committee convened on June 11th, 2026. The committee approved the following action items: February 12th, 2026 committee meeting minutes, fiscal year 2025-26 foundation operating budget amendment, a gift-related naming opportunity for track and field, which is very exciting, Fiscal year 2026 operating budgets for FAM Foundation and Rattler Boosters. The committee was presented with the following informational items: divisional updates for university advancement and direct support organizations, athletics department updates from AD John Davis. This concludes our report.
Special Committee on Development Research School, trustee, Chair Brown, you recognize.
Morning. The DRS Special Committee met. The members present were trustee Roderick Harris, Natalie Figures, Emmett Gainey, and Michael White, and myself. Action items included approving the minutes from the May 12, 2026 meeting. Committee updates were given from myself on the different DRS teams and the work that has been done in the current plans. Also, we heard from our superintendent of DRS, Mr. Michael Johnson, who gave some input and who gave feedback for the board and committee members on a list of items that we needed to get follow-up on. Our next steps that we talked about, trustees were interested in making sure that we had laser focus on the academic improvement plan, including looking at school structure, positive education models, and furthering our work on the pipeline and scholarship models as well too. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Chair Jones, you're recognized for the Strategic Planning and Performance Measures Committee.
Good afternoon. The Strategic Planning Committee and Performance Measures Committee met today, Thursday, June 11th. Committee was attended by Chair Jones, Trustee Brown, Trustee Crossman, Trustee Young, and Trustee Williams. The quorum was present. The committee approved the minutes from the February 12th meeting. Dr. Roderick Jones presented the broadly striking strategic plan update. The committee reviewed performance across the university's priorities, including student success, academic excellence, financial sustainability, and effectiveness of the organization. Mr. Kelvin Lawson, Chief Operating Officer, provided an overview of the development of the 2028 strategic plan, including structure, timeline, engagement of stakeholders that aligns to the state university system priorities. Overall, the committee was informed of the university's continued progress under the strategic plan and collaborative efforts to the next overall planning process. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Jones. Now we move to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for the entire consent agenda from A down to item F. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. So we do have to take up two action items. One is a DSOA approval of the gift related to naming recommendation. Do I hear a motion to approve that item?
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all signify by saying aye. Any opposed? None. The motion passes. Item 2 is GCI 2027-2028, and that's related, it's the LBRs. We pulled that item, remember, because we did not have a quorum, so we're putting on an action item list. Do I hear a motion to accept that particular item? It's properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? No one readiness? Are you ready to vote? All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any, no, no, it passes, the motion passes. Close, we now will move to our closed session and come back and do an adjournment. Is the legal team ready? Are you ready,
Yes.
sir?
Yes,
Do
sir.
we need to leave?
Yes, but I need to get this on the record.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So pursuant to section 447.605, paragraph 1 of the Florida statutes, all discussions between the chief executive officer of the public employer or his or her representative and the legislative body or the public employer relative to collective bargaining shall be closed and exempt from section 286.011. This exemption applies in the context of actual and impending collective bargaining negotiations. This particular closed session will be regarding negotiations with the United Faculty of Florida as it relates to our general faculty and also our FAMU DRS. Those in attendance should include the board members, President Johnson, COO Lawson, Provost Watson, Mr. Billy, Dean Price, Superintendent Johnson, outside counsel Robert Locken, and attorneys Iris Elijah, Kentavia Coates, and myself. With that, Chair, we should now move into the collective bargaining closed session and then reconvene at its conclusion.
Will, thank you, Attorney McKnight. We will move into that session. Trustees that are online, you have received the link. If you'll switch over to that link, so that we can get going fairly quickly, and we'll move to this room and move to the session. Thank you.